Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Leslie and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Leslie. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominic Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominic Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on ash, meaning it will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Leslie and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Leslie. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominic Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominic Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on ash, meaning it will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Laszlo Djere and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Laszlo Djere. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominik Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominik Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on ash, meaning it will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets. Thanks for tuning into this watch-along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Lesloger and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Lesloger. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominik Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominik Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on Ash. It will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarter-finals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the 2 top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Lesloger and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Lesloger. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominik Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominik Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on Ash. It will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Ready? Play.
Hey guys, this is Talking Tennis. This is Novak Djokovic versus Taylor Fritz, who are completing their warm-up on Arthur Ashe as we speak. And I'm going to be talking you through what's going on. But I'm hoping that I'm not the only one doing the talking. So those of you who are watching, get in the chat. I can see Terry's been here for a bit. Hi, Terry. Great to see you. But I think you've had an absolutely brilliant preview from John of this match, all the key stats involved. This is the second time I've ever commentated on a Novak Djokovic versus Taylor Fritz match. I also commentated on their semi-final they played at the ATP finals at the end of last year. I believe it was myself and Claire and Peter doing that one. And that one ended up being more competitive than we expected, given that Fritz came very close to winning a set, or maybe even winning the match against Djokovic, actually. I think remember there being a noise in the crowd that distracted Fritz at a critical moment, and then Djokovic seized the momentum. But Fritz has the tool set to make this a match with Djokovic. Djokovic should have the edge, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they both produce. Hey, Jake. Okay, so you didn't see the Goff Ostapenko beatdown that happened earlier. Have they closed the roof? Don't know. I think my producer will have to find that out for me. Roof is open. Confirmed. Roof is open. And so is the match, as Novak Djokovic is serving first and puts the first serve into the net. I caught most of it. I don't know. There wasn't a lot to report, really. I just thought that Goff managed the match really well. Ostapenko went back to unforced error central, and I'm a little annoyed that didn't happen a match ago. Unreturnable serve from Novak Djokovic. On second serve, I think Fritz got a little bit overzealous with that. Forehand, tried to flatten out too much, puts it in the middle of the net, 15 love. Still very pleased for Coco Gauff. I think we may well be heading for a Gauff versus Sabalenka final, which I'm here for, actually. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon because Karina Mukova might have something to say about that. I do think she's very much a dark horse in the women's draw. But we'll have to see how she's tonight against Castell, who's had a couple of night matches already. Back to this match, though, and back to the ATP side. Obviously, first men's quarterfinal to be played of this year's lineup. And it's a double fault from Novak Djokovic. Not a great... it's a bit of a slow start, but you get that from Djokovic sometimes, 15 all. I can't necessarily talk to myself the entire time. I can give it a go, but I'm sure it'd be very boring for most of you. So please get in the comments, get in the live chat, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube or on Facebook. Let's talk tennis. Let's talk about what we're watching here in the matches, because we're all probably watching this one. I know I've been on the streams last week and a half where maybe we've all been updating each other on what's going on around the grounds, but here now we're all watching the singles, unless of course you might be watching some doubles action, which, you know, I wouldn't blame you. Doubles is pretty good. I meant to put something out earlier saying the doubles matches to watch, and I completely forgot. Oh well. Djokovic serving again at 30-15. We're only a couple of points in, but he doesn't seem to be liking serving into the outside at the minute. Terry saying there's no sun on the court. maybe I don't know, maybe there's a shadow or something, but Djokovic has gone along with a forehand. It's 30 all. I'm okay. So Fritz is kind of in this game. It's difficult to tell with an opening service game how competitive it's going to be, but we'll see. I think generally there's a little bit of rustiness from in the early stages. Everyone's kind of feeling each other out, into a rhythm. Yeah, great job here. Djokovic got a second serve again. He's getting ready to serve. He's really taking his time between these points. Maybe he's saving some energy. Forehand from Fritz on the attack, and Djokovic is forced into the net. Break point Fritz straight away. Break point Taylor Fritz straight away in this match for an early break. Could be making things interesting. So yeah, let's see if Fritz can make a difference already on this match, as Djokovic is still getting ready. We've got a lot of time between points, as is typical with a Novak or a Rafa match. The big names like to take their time and put things on their own terms. Jake, you might be quite a bit ahead of me by the look of it. So that's going to be entertaining to watch, as I'm currently on the first break point. Inside out forehand from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic, cross court from Fritz, cross court Djokovic, the trading cross court forehands. Fritz goes long, deuce, first break point saved. Definitely had a go at it. Definitely having a go at it. Yeah, let me know. Are you watching the match with me, or are you relying on me to keep you updated on what's going on? Love to know that. I know there's some of you I know we usually get people who sometimes can't watch the match for whatever reason. Either it's not available in their country, or they don't want to pay extortionate amounts of money for a pay-per-view subscription. Great rally going on here that ends with Fritz going into the net on the backhand, advantage Djokovic for the game point. So yeah, I know there's a few of you here already. Just let me know. Are you relying on me to tell you what's going on? If you're all just here to listen to me talk about what I think of the match that you are watching, also let me know, because that means that I don't necessarily have to do point by point with something you've already seen. Good serve by Djokovic. Backhand from Fritz. He's way behind the baseline. Djokovic drop shots. Fritz just gets it over, but Djokovic is there and ready to put the backhand volley away. And game to Djokovic. Terry is watching. Jake is watching. Who else is watching? Excuse me.
You okay, Nick? Go get some water. Okay, I'll talk you through these next few points. Hi, Jake. How are you doing? Terry as well. Plenty of you there in the live stream. Make sure you hit the like button while we have Nick getting some hydration, much needed ahead of this Taylor Fritz service game. I have Taylor Fritz here serving. He was going down the tee, but he ends up hitting it into... Oh, so the roof is closed, Terry. Okay. I was not aware of that. Is there some rain coming in? Quite possibly. Anyway, Taylor Fritz backhand into the net. Not the ideal start for him on his serve. Love 15. So the roof is closed, Terry. I wasn't aware of that. I wonder why they've closed it. I guess there's just some pending rain because of the heat. The heat rule. Thank you, guys, for letting us know with that one. Nick?
Hiya, sorry about that.
No worries. Nick, by the way, between, I would say at the end of the 2-1 game, so when they have the next change of end, because this preview video only has a certain lifespan, I would certainly play it one more time. Okay. Novak Djokovic versus Taylor Fritz preview video that you can see in the clips right at the bottom. If you need me to press play, I will. But if not, you can happily press play when you get to the end of your sentence.
All right, we'll give it a go.
All right. But we'll do that at 2-1 or 3-love, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, at the minute, could be 3-love because it's love 30 on my screen. Djokovic already making some inroads in. Good to see you, Srihari. Great to have you around. I didn't think you'd be joining us. I thought you'd be all focused on Novak. Are you fairly confident of Djokovic coming through here? Certainly the record involved with Fritz isn't great. He's yet to beat Novak in 7 meetings, and it's been he's never beat the top 10 player at a Grand Slam. 10-0. Djokovic goes long, and so Fritz gets on the board in his first service game, 15-30. Thanks, Terry, for the updates about the roof. Apologies again whilst I try and clear the lungs of the saliva that I have inhaled because I'm a child, apparently. So we continue on. Backhand from Fritz, backhand slice from Djokovic, backhand from Fritz, backhand Djokovic, backhand from Fritz, backhand Djokovic up the line, forehand Taylor Fritz cross court, winner 30-all. Obviously, yeah, a little behind as usual, such is the methodology, such as is the setup I have for these matches. But oh well. Great winner from Fritz. He's using his firepower to his full advantage. Srihari is quite relaxed for this match. Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, Srihari is a Novak fan. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Actually, no, I'll ask you the question. Do you think that it's possible for Fritz to get a set off Djokovic? I think it is. I could see this one going 4. I think Fritz was unfortunate not to make it even closer at the ATP finals when they played last year. So, obviously, indoor conditions favouring Djokovic as Fritz has gone long and it's 30-40 with a break point for Novak Djokovic to start to basically get things rolling straight away, pretty much. Yeah, we've got a break point. Here we go. Djokovic is getting ready. Stands way behind the baseline to return, which he gets it in. No, he doesn't. He just takes it long. He's frustrated with himself. It wasn't out by much. That was very close to a return as you expect from one of the best returns of all time, if not the best. But sadly, it is deuce for if you are a Djokovic fan. Fritz puts the first serve into the net. Hopefully you're enjoying. Forehand from Djokovic, the backhand of Fritz into the net. Break point again, Djokovic. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a tie break set in this, to be honest. I think there's always one set that Djokovic has played where it's been a little bit too close for comfort. But Fritz's unforced error count way too high. Already 7 unforced errors in, and we haven't even completed 2 games yet. I mean, he's practically giving it away. Great serve from Fritz, but Djokovic gets it back into play. Backhand from Fritz, backhand Djokovic. Fritz changes direction, goes long. Djokovic breaks. Fritz is frustrated. He thwacks the ball away, and Djokovic is already serving with a very early break at 2-love in the first set. Are we in for something similar? I mean, the first set between Goff and Ostapenko was a 6-love set. Are we going to treat the Arthur Ashe crowd to a live bakery right here today in the quarterfinals? To be honest, I think, although I would imagine a lot of people are wanting the night session tickets, given the fireworks are likely to be going off when Tiafoe and Shelton play. Both great showmen here. Great stat from Srihari, by the way, already saying Fritz has been broken for just the 2nd time in the whole tournament. And of course, that's not bad. That's not a bad stat if you're Fritz, and probably no shame in getting broken by someone with the caliber of Novak Djokovic. Djokovic is the first point, though, love 15. Interesting that we're seeing the popcorn predictions for the quarterfinals. Yeah, mine actually looking at this, yeah, pretty much mine was exactly the same. The only difference is I predicted Tsitsipas getting there instead of Fritz. I think I only got 3 out of 8 quarterfinalists correct. Alcaraz, Medvedev, and Djokovic. Shahiri got pulled. Shahiri did a bit better. I regretting not listening to my gut and going with Tiafoe, to be honest, because I do when I first started doing laying the draw out, I was so tempted to have a Tiafoe Shelton lineup. I was like, no, you got to go with your head. You got to go with the algorithm. You got to go with Rude coming through, maybe finding some form. But Zhang had other things to say, and we are here now. And yeah, Tiafoe and Shelton, I thought, particularly Shelton, both of them I thought had big runs in them. And I turned out I was right, but I wasn't willing to back that in a silly game for pride. But my gut's not usually right on these things. Long backhand from Taylor Fritz on the return, 30-15. Yeah, so really, yeah, men's tournament has been, I think, outside of the top 3 seeds, pretty open by the look of it. Sinner versus Zverev yesterday turned into a bit of an epic. I turned out to be wrong on that one. I was convinced that Jannik Sinner was going to win it. But Zverev clearly, although he doesn't have a great record against top 10 players, he does seem to have a good record against top 10 players who are younger than him. So maybe we need to look at that. Double fault from Djokovic, 30-all. It's his second double fault of the match, I think. Not super, not flowing yet. He's doing enough. I mean, like it's a standard Novak Djokovic trait of he does enough to win. He does enough to win because he's good enough to just do enough to win. He always finds a way to win, especially over best of 5. One of the best match managers, actually probably the best match management I've ever seen in Novak Djokovic, to be honest. As Djokovic goes out wide on the serve, backhand in play, backhand from Fritz, forehand Djokovic up the line, forehand from Fritz cross court. Going to do a little bit of a rally here. Djokovic gets Fritz on the defense, tries to tee up an inside-out forehand to the Fritz backhand. He's really going for the Fritz backhand at the minute. Try to keep it there, tries to change direction on his own backhand, but he goes long and Fritz has a break point. Again, I think there's been break points in every single game so far. Good grief. Yes, that's low serving stats. Why is it about low serving stats at this US Open? But yeah, 25% first serve. I mean, Djokovic can just about get away with that, but if he keeps at that level, that's going to make it a very scrappy match for him. I'll tell you what, I mean, he could probably dig deep and find that fault. But if we are getting this Alcaraz Djokovic final, he's going to have to be performing a lot better than that against the young Spaniard. First serve into the net from Djokovic, so it's another second serve. We're maintaining this low first serve percentage from both, and maybe it's not fully warmed up yet. Maybe it's the conditions. Who knows? It'd be interesting to see if these percentages pick up over the course of the match. Backhand from Fritz in play. So Djokovic backhand. Fritz just trading backhands over the middle of the net at the minute. No one going for anything too crazy. Djokovic then changes the angle with a direct on the forehand. It goes wide, and Fritz immediately gets the break back. Yeah, back on serve. A little bit of a messy match than expected. Was that what we predicted, John?
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals at the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Müller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Laszlo Djere and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Laszlo Djere. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominik Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominik Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on ash, meaning it will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Wow. Maybe we are getting 4 sets. Fritz won the opening point of the service game. The roof is opening. Maybe that will change things for both players. But now they've both got to adjust to some new conditions if that's the case, because it'll probably get a little bit less humid. Backhand from Fritz just over the net. Djokovic's going to try and attack on the forehand. Backhand Djokovic into the net, 15 all. It's definitely a messy match. I am agreeing with pretty much the vibe in the chat at the minute is this is a messy one. So hopefully the level's going to go up because, well, for both their sakes, they don't want to continue playing at something like this. This late into the tournament, this deep in the tournament, because it's only going to get harder from here. 30-15 from Ted Fritz concedes that point to Djokovic. Yeah, I think it's actually the first Djokovic match I've watched this tournament, actually. He's either been on at night or when he is playing during the day, he was playing against someone I didn't think could challenge him. So, yeah, I think it's the first time I've really seen him in action. But have any of you in the chat watched any of Djokovic's matches this tournament? Any of you viewers watching, like, let me know. Like, is this the first Djokovic match of the tournament that you're watching? Or is this a match that or have you been following his progress closely throughout the tournament? How's he looking? Is it standard Novak of sort of cruising his way through weaker opposition, saving himself for a higher level against someone maybe whatever the Americans in the semi-finals can produce, or even Alcaraz in the final, or Medvedev? Don't rule out Medvedev. But yeah, how's he been looking? Taylor Fritz has impressed me so far with his progress. Hasn't dropped a set yet. Only been broken twice in the whole tournament. Maybe opposition isn't. I wouldn't expect to test him, but we've also seen Fritz not really bring the right level at Grand Slams so many times, and he's now in his second Grand Slam quarterfinal. First one was obviously against Rafa Nadal last year at Wimbledon, where that went 5. He probably should have won that one, but Rafa just pulled off some amazing heroics to win despite being underpowered. Great serve from Fritz. Not even Djokovic get that back. It was so far out wide, and it was so good. And Fritz now has advantage in this game. Yeah, he's looking good, is Taylor Fritz. Definitely looking good. This is the first serve though, not ideal. Trying to get this game on the board. Hold for the first. It would be a first hold of the match for him if he did. Every game so far has gone to deuce. Forehand from Djokovic, the forehand of Fritz, cross court. Djokovic gets his back into play. It's middle of the court from Fritz. Backhand from Fritz. The Djokovic backhand. Really good at just mixing the angles. Drop shot from Djokovic. Fritz comes in, goes right back at Djokovic, who lobs Fritz, but he's got enough time to get back. Djokovic comes in at the net to try and finish. Fritz runs that down, but he can't get it up and over. Great job from Djokovic just to mix things up, move Fritz up and down the court. Fritz had time, but that last ball was a really awkward angle and couldn't put it away. And Djokovic is saved game point, back at deuce. Yeah, very entertaining point for the crowd, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, Fritz has done well to, I always say, okay, he's expected to get to a quarterfinal, especially if Tsitsipas or someone above him is sort of not there. I mean, he's so close. He's the 9th seed, so close to top 8 anyway. Great lob from Fritz there. That wins him the point and puts him at advantage. I mean, here's the thing with Taylor Fritz. I think he's ninth in the race at the minute. He's ahead of Casper Ruud. He's just behind Zverev. He's very much still in the hunt for a place in Turin at the ATP finals. All despite the fact that maybe this season he's gone under the radar a little bit. Semi-finals in Monte Carlo. I think he got to a semi-final maybe in Indian Wells or Miami. Quarterfinal in Indian Wells, lost to Sinner. I think. But yeah, not bad. Backhand from Fritz. The Djokovic backhand up the line. Fritz forehand back to the Djokovic backhand, which goes across court, moving Fritz around. Djokovic goes back behind Fritz with the forehand. Still moving Fritz around as much as he can. Fritz tries to put the angle on the forehand, goes wide. We're still at deuce. I think we could be in for a long one, guys. It's 24 minutes, and we're only in game 4. This is a bit of a battle, really. Djokovic, Fritz, first serve into the net. Have the serve stats improved at all, by the way? I'm curious. I don't want to get them up because I know I'm going to get spoiled for what's happening next. So maybe I'll check it at a change of ends or something. Backhand from Djokovic to the backhand of Fritz. Djokovic still trying to put Fritz to pressure again. It's very clearly trying to move Fritz around, and it's working. Like, his entire strategy is just get Fritz moving from side to side, up and down if necessary. And Djokovic now has break point chance because Fritz has again taken the forehand wide. What a result. Djokovic getting ready to receive, trying to restore his break advantage that he'd immediately lost in his previous game. Fritz goes for an ace out wide, job done, deuce, break point saved again. We're starting to see a little bit of the tactics here. Like, Djokovic is just focusing on moving Fritz around. Fritz is targeting the Djokovic backhand a lot. Or maybe Djokovic is targeting the Fritz backhand. It's hard to tell. I'm interested to see what Fritz is trying to do here. Djokovic probably just serve big, to be honest, and try and attack. Great forehand from Fritz. Again, he's choosing to go to the Djokovic backhand here. Still attacking the Djokovic backhand. Has got time to do that, but now Djokovic has a forehand, which puts Fritz on the run, goes cross court. Djokovic goes back behind. Now Fritz is on the defensive, goes long, another breakpoint chance. And that was yet another example of Djokovic just taking control of a point. He's soaking up everything Fritz is throwing at him, and then takes the opportunity to just to win the point. Hey, Ghost, Statman, loving it. Oh, wait, not the mood. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, Ghost. I'm a little gutted for Penko as well, to be honest. Drop shot from Fritz. Fritz just about to clear Djokovic. Picks that one up, but it's not enough. He can't get to it in time. Djokovic again, great counter drop shot on the half volley, and it's 3-1 with a break. Yeah, going back to Ghosty, yeah, Penko, I definitely hoped we'd get a bit more of a match from her with Goff. I was up for her winning the US Open. I was, all joking aside, genuinely, I was picturing Yelena Ostapenko winning the US Open, and I was absolutely here for it. And I would have absolutely loved seeing her holding another Grand Slam trophy and just going, hey guys, I'm still here. Oh, well, maybe another time. I still think she might win Wimbledon one day. But yeah, Coco through, and I'm looking for, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Coco can produce. I think she's on the path to the final, and I'm very excited for potential Coco Gauff versus Arina Sabalenka final. Let's like Penko. I think Penko's fun to watch when she's on form. But she's not necessarily my first choice of playing style to enjoy. But I can't help but admire it when it's working. So yeah. Somehow, Ghost, I don't think I'm your type. We're at love 15, by the way. Djokovic at 27% first serves. That is insane. Backhand from Fritz. I mean, what's his serving stats been like the rest of the tournament, Shahiri? Yeah, don't worry, Ghosty. I'm messing with you too. Apart from Penko talk. I'm very sort of... Yeah, she did. But yeah, Shahiri, you're the one probably following Djokovic super closely, like, or anyone, Jake, Terry, whoever, like, if you've got the stats, like, what's Djokovic tournament been like for first serves? Because this has to be below par. As Fritz goes long on the forehand, he's frustrated with himself because he knew he had an opportunity in that rally, 30-15. Let's see if Djokovic can find a first serve here, because this has definitely been the story of the tournament. He's got to try and play himself into form here. Shrihari, you're saying that Djokovic had 65 to 70% first serves in all tournament. Well, yeah, he's at like a third of that now. Great. Fritz keeping himself in the rally and moving around to have forehand. Great athleticism on display from Fritz. He's attacking with the forehand as much as he possibly can. Djokovic goes to the backhand of Fritz this time just to get a reprieve. Fritz goes on attack with the forehand. Djokovic puts his into the net, and it's 30-all. Huge delta in serving numbers between the Australian Open and the US Open. 16-shot rally there. So hang on. Is that for the entire field or just Novak, Trihiri, for the serving number delta? Because I'm not entirely sure. I took in the previous statement on that. Still up 3-1, Ghost. Yeah, he is. But it's not been comfortable. I'm still think Novak's going to win this because he's not playing his best and he's still a breakup. He's been a breakup twice. So he kind of exhales. Goes up the tee, ace. Finds that first serve. There's the Goran Ivanisevic spot serving, 40-30. So yeah. So is there a difference in what? Why is Djokovic's serve being affected? I mean, are we talking. I mean, I don't want to get way too ahead of myself here, but hey, let's talk something controversial because I know that tends to annoy people in the comments. But get a conversation going. Are we starting to see the decline? I mean, I did wonder that with the Alcaraz final, and Djokovic did not play his best. Slice from Fritz to Djokovic forehand, moving Fritz around. Fritz goes for the forehand cross court. Djokovic gets his own forehand in, just picking everything off that Fritz is throwing at him. Really great forehand from Djokovic. Fritz digs that out well, tries to dig that up. Djokovic at the net with an overhead, finishes the point. Game 4-1. That was actually the last 2 points from Novak are his best 2 points of the match, and we're starting to see him hitting something like Top Gear. Something like Top Gear here. Right, I'm just having a looking around what else is going on as during this change event. Okay, the career of Barbora Strycova is now officially over as she's out of the mixed doubles. She was partnering with Santiago Gonzalez, but they've just lost 6-4, 7-6 to Shibahara and Pavic, which is a very strong doubles pairing, to be honest, on the grandstand court. So Barbora Strycova, whose career got ended in doubles, was also ended by Vondrousova pulling out due to injury. It's not looking good, I'm afraid, for and that's the end for Strycova, who has had a great career, really. Singles semi-final, multiple doubles titles. Really, really good result. The only other big match kind of going on, we've got a lot of junior stuff going on around. But the only other seniors and some wheelchair matches going on. We've got Andy Lapthorne in action, the quad singles and the wheelchairs, 6-3 up already, but it's been suspended by the look of it, possibly. I'm not sure why it's been suspended, maybe for heat. But meanwhile, we've got a huge battle going on in the Louis Armstrong Stadium because Magdalena and Bernarda Pera are 2-love up in the second set, but they lost the first set on a tiebreak to Jennifer Brady and Luisa Stefani. So really interesting there. Ghost with some comments in there. I think, if you're a Djokovic fan, I don't see any need to panic just now. But I do wonder if he brings this kind of level in the next match, whether his opponent there is going to give him a harder time. Thanks for that, Barbora. I think I saw her briefly playing in Birmingham, having a really good battle with Anna Bogdan on one of the smaller courts. And question about Vondrousova. Is she going to play out of singles? I don't think she is. I think she's going to try and play against Keys tomorrow, but I would not be surprised if she just doesn't have enough in the tank. Maybe I've said this before. I'm not sure her elbow is going to stand up to the punishment that Keys is going to throw at her. So if Keys targets the backhand in particular, that's going to be a tough one for the Czech, and I can imagine things being a little trickier going forward. So I am relatively confident in Madison Keys making the US Open semi-finals, where she could potentially be playing, more likely playing Arina Sabalenka is going to be the heavy favourite against Zhang Qinwen tomorrow. Yeah, I'd like to see Strycova doing her own podcast as well. I think it'd be really interesting. Untenable serve, by the way, from Taylor Fritz to get to 15-all. As on the screen, we've now discovered that it's been 622 days since Djokovic last lost to an American. And that, of course, was Sam Querrey at Wimbledon in 2016. And what was a surprising result at the time? I think Querrey was better than a lot of people give him credit for. But that was definitely a round 3 exit for Djokovic was stunning, really. But at least it opened the door for Murray to get that second Wimbledon. Zhang Qinwen, I don't give her no chance. It depends. If she's absolutely fearless, then yeah, she'll take it to Sabs. Uh, 30 all, by the way. Djokovic has gone long with a lob attempt. Fritz is under pressure on every single service game, as Shrihari has pointed out. Yeah, I mean, Ghost, are you surprised that the last time Djokovic was lost to an American, it was that long ago? Or are you surprised it was Sam Querrey who beat him? Curious to know. I mean, Querrey then did the same thing. Like he beat the Wimbledon defending champion 2 consecutive years, because he beat Djokovic in 16, and then he beat Murray the following year on his way to the semi-finals, which was his best Grand Slam result, probably his best career result, because he never got to a Masters final. I'd say his next best career result was probably winning Queen's Club in 2010. Okay, you're surprised it was Querrey. Yeah, Djokovic does have a bit of trouble with big servers sometimes. Not always, but he's not having too much trouble with the Fritz serve, because it's 30-40. Yeah, that one's got over my head, Shrihari, sorry. You'll have to text me later. Or explain to us. I don't. Yeah, I think if you know, just text me later, because I'm not sure I know that one. Forehand to the forehand of Fritz inside out. Djokovic is already there with the backhand. He's staying so far behind the baseline just to get everything that Fritz is throwing at him. That's the key here. Djokovic again gets his forehand to play. Happy to just rally with Fritz. That's a let cord. Fritz goes on the attack with his forehand. Djokovic responds with a huge backhand. Fritz goes long. There we go. Djokovic breaks 5-1. He's going to be serving for this first set. Oh, yeah. Soderling beating the Roland Garros champion. Okay, I get it now. That was very lateral, Shrihari. I wouldn't want you to write a tennis quiz, because I feel like it'd be unnecessarily hard. Ghost talking about Zheng Qinwen. If Zheng comes out and plays super aggressive and doesn't miss much, yeah, Sabalenka's got a fight on her hands. Sabalenka's got a fight on her hands, but that's all going to depend on how Zheng handles the situation. I certainly, because she served at 36%, maybe up to 39% yesterday, as Fritz puts a attempt to pick up a drop shot into the net. It's 15 love. Yeah, I definitely think that Sabalenka is going to punish Zheng if she's just relying on second serves. So she does have to bring a better level than she'd even like in the rallies against Shibur. She was better, but serving wasn't great. Djokovic misses the first serve here. Go saying Fritz looks shell shocked. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think I'm looking at this and like Fritz is throwing everything he can at Djokovic, and it's just not working. Again, probably like a Cincinnati match that they played a few weeks ago. Drop shot from Djokovic into the net. That goes in the net, 15 all. Actually, Shrihari, you're saying that Fritz is having the complete opposite. But has Fritz, what's Fritz's serving stats been like the rest of the tournament? Was he just getting away with it because he was playing subpar position, or is this a very different serving performance? I'd be curious. By the way, we're at set point with an ace from Novak Djokovic. So he's ace from Djokovic at 30-15, and then backhand forced error from Fritz to get to set point. I'm probably a little bit behind actually. Again, I'm looking at the scoreboard rather than my screen, so I'll let you know what happens with that set point when everything kind of catches up from my perspective. I just want to have a look at these stats. Okay, I'll probably have a look at the stats, maybe run through the stats with you guys after the change of ends, because we'll probably play our preview video again during this change of ends, but let's see if Djokovic can take one of these 2 attempts to take this set. They're into a rally now. Inside out. Djokovic trying to go for the winner. Comes off the top of the net. Misses it. Completely missed it. And it's 40-30. So first set point missed by Djokovic. Just trying to go for the winner. Just ends up finding the net. Unfortunately. Djokovic. 40-30. Another opportunity for a set point. With 42 minutes in, it's a 6-1 set to try and get to a 6-1 set. Djokovic misses the first serve. Not ideal. So, second serve for Djokovic. Gets it up the tee. Second serve ace. Job done. Djokovic holds 6-1. That was the scrappiest 6-1 set I've ever seen, and yet I didn't doubt Djokovic was gonna win it. Fritz has not held serve yet. That should have been a 6-love set. Right, whilst we are waiting between sets, we'll remind ourselves of how these two were going into the match.
Ready. Play.
Novak Djokovic meets Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals of the US Open. It is the 8th meeting between the two top 10 players, with Djokovic prevailing on each of the other previous 7 occasions. Their most recent meeting came in Cincinnati, with the soon-to-be world number 1 dropping just 4 games en route to victory. In New York, Djokovic is pursuing a 24th Grand Slam title and his 4th US Open title overall, while Taylor Fritz is aiming for his first major semi-final. Djokovic has beaten Alexandre Muller, Bernabe, Zapata, Morales, Laszlo Djere and Borna Goyo so far in New York, dropping 2 sets en route, both of which came to Laszlo Djere. Fritz, meanwhile, has yet to drop a set in the Big Apple, racing past Steve Johnson, Juan Pablo Varillas and Jakub Mensik before overcoming Dominik Stricker. Fritz is now into the final 8 at the US Open for the first time. In 7 previous appearances in the main draw at Flushing Meadows, the top-ranked American had never reached the 4th round, let alone the quarters. On his 8th try, Fritz would not be denied, beating Dominik Stricker 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian qualifier Borna Goyo in the 4th round of the US Open 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 for his 85th career win at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. In doing so, he now becomes the only player with 85 or more wins at each of the Grand Slams on tour. His record in Australia is 89-8. At Roland Garros in Paris, it's 92-16, where he's lost more matches than he has at the other 3 slams. At Wimbledon, he's 92-11, and at the US Open, he's 85-13. The Fritz Djokovic quarter-final will be second on ash, meaning it will be in the afternoon and possibly baking temperatures, perhaps favouring Fritz slightly more. However, I still expect the 36-year-old to prevail, possibly in 4 sets.
Possibly in 4 sets. Maybe it'll be 3 if it's according to Ghosty. I might be inclined to agree. I don't know. Does anyone... I'll ask the question I asked at the beginning of the match. Do we think Taylor Fritz is winning a set? He's not even held serve yet this match. So, it might be a bit of a challenge. There's an ace to start off the set. That's going to make him feel better. That's a positive start for the American, Taylor Fritz. And he's on 15 love. Just as a little bit of a stats here. So at the minute, first serve in, Djokovic's percentages has improved to 46%, where it was 27 before. So he's definitely getting better. Fritz is at 48% first serves in, win percentage of 73% behind his first serve, whereas Djokovic is at 67% behind his first serve. So there's a window. If Fritz can get his serve points up, he might stand a better chance here. He might actually get himself into this match after what was a little bit of a humiliating first set, given Djokovic was not at his best and still bagel and breadsticked Fritz. To be honest, a lot of just kept on drawing errors from Fritz. If you look at the unforced error count, and Fritz on 19, Djokovic on 11. That's, if you like, if you think of those as negative points, then Taylor Fritz has won 15 positive points compared to Djokovic's 23. So not only is Fritz making more enforced errors, but Djokovic is forcing the issue a lot more. Fritz is held to love, by the way. Great job from Taylor Fritz. But yeah, he's even despite the slightly poor serving performance in the first set that has improved from Djokovic, he's not. When they get into the rallies, Djokovic is forcing the issue more, and you can tell that because during a rally, Fritz is throwing at what he can at Djokovic, and Djokovic is soaking up and waiting for the other two to take control if Fritz doesn't make an error. So probably that's best Fritz. That was obviously Fritz held serve, but to go from not holding serve at all to holding to love is a great transition early on in this second set. Fritz, who obviously did get one game on the board, that was by breaking Novak Djokovic straight after breaking the Djokovic serve in the first game. Actually, I think that meant that what am I talking about? Djokovic was 2 love up, and then Fritz broke back. So yeah, we're looking at 4 games. That was a run of 4 games in a row from Djokovic that Fritz has finally managed to stop. It's love 15, by the way. Love 15. Djokovic isn't necessarily still not having necessarily the easiest service games. In fact, I think his it was a first serve that should have been in, but I think it was let. First serving stats might be dropping again. Not ideal for the Serb. Let me know what you're thinking about this match, by the way. It can't be a double fault, surely. Oh, it is a double fault. Love 30. Djokovic down on his haunches. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just trying to get some feeling into his legs. Maybe he feels like he's not pushing up through the legs enough. Hard to say, really. Yeah. It's hard to be. Yeah, those of you who are watching, Terry, Jake, if you're still there, let me know what you're thinking about this match. Out wide from Djokovic, cross court. Fritz chases it down, backhand cross court to the backhand of Djokovic up the line. Fritz puts his forehand into the net, trying to slice it, and it's 15-30. That's usually defensive, sort of a desperation shot, kind of bailing out a little bit. So it's interesting that Fritz chose that shot. I mean, from the ground level, I did think Fritz had time, but maybe it was coming at him a bit quicker than he expected. Djokovic bouncing the ball. Serves out wide. Fritz kicks it up. Forehand Djokovic. Back behind Fritz. 30-all. He's halfway out the hole. He could still fall back in the hole, but he's halfway out of it. So yeah, early on in this match, Djokovic is, he's fighting his way through these games. And actually, what's the point so far been this match? It might be worth having a look at it. As Djokovic serves, but it's again just that first serve percentage is just shockingly low. Shockingly low. And weirdly, it's only been 7 winners each this match. Fritz can't hit through the Djokovic defense as Fritz puts a forehand into the net off the Djokovic second serve. But Djokovic isn't exactly breaking Fritz down either. He's not really going for his shots in the same way. Only 3 aces each as well. It's still better than Djokovic producing the Wimbledon final against Carlos Alcaraz. Djokovic also double faulting 4 times. It's all a little bit odd, really. But yeah, as Djokovic serves first serve into the net again. Still not ideal from Novak Djokovic. Really not ideal. Really, really not ideal on this performance. And he's getting away with it against Fritz because Fritz isn't harming him in the rallies. But that could be more of a problem if someone decides to got a little bit more firepower or a little bit more variety. It's like a Carlos Alcaraz. Fritz goes wide, trying to attack on the forehand, and it's games Djokovic. So yeah, the points in this match so far: Djokovic 36, Fritz 28, which is madness considering that it's 6-1, 1-1. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that first set was a bit of a battle. That Fritz has won 7 games worth of points in this match, and he's actually only won 2. There's been every game's felt like a battle, apart from that one that Fritz held to love. Maybe the one that Djokovic served out the set with, although that did go to 30. This doesn't feel straightforward. Even the score looks straightforward. Fritz has an overhead. Djokovic still gets it back in. Fritz tries the drop shot. Djokovic runs it down, passes Fritz cross-court forehand winner, and it's a love 15 right off the bat for Novak Djokovic. Trying to push for the attack, trying to push for it. Djokovic winning 75% of net points. Fritz's record way lower. Djokovic can do anything he wants. He can live with Fritz from the baseline. Unreturnable serve from Fritz, 15-all. Djokovic again down on his haunches with his left hand on the ground. Very odd behaviour there. But yeah, Djokovic is able to absorb everything that Fritz throws in from the baseline. And if he throws in, if he can come in and play at the net and finish it off, he's having a lot of success there. He can drop shot Fritz. Fritz is having trouble running those down if deployed correctly. Yeah, Djokovic is an answer to everything, as proved by an incredible return that Fritz dumps in the net, and it's 15-30. Actually, I think the unforced error count for Djokovic is only 13. So, yeah, he's getting away with it. He's not. He's making a few unforced errors, but they're not as costly as that number would suggest. I think Fritz is making more, for sure. Fritz is going to be trying again. Here it goes. Djokovic, great short return there. Fritz goes long, trying to get to it, and it's 15-40. That was a short, tightly angled backhand return that Fritz had to run forward to chase. Break points for Djokovic to take control of the second set. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, we've got Leyla Fernandez on Twitch again. Rooting for you in the US Open doubles, Leyla, or maybe it's a different Leyla Fernandez. Here we go. Second serve. Forehand from Djokovic. The forehand of Fritz. Forehand Djokovic up the line. Backhand from Fritz. Backhand Djokovic. Backhand Fritz. The backhand of Djokovic, which is sliced. Fritz now has to attack with his backhand, keeping Djokovic in the backhand corner. I don't know why you're trying to attack Djokovic backhand so much. It's not exactly a massive weakness. Forehand from Fritz, changing direction. Forehand again from Fritz. Djokovic absorbing it. Oh, that's a beautiful backhand from Djokovic. Putting himself in trouble. Rushes Fritz, who puts his forehand into the net. And Djokovic breaks for 2-1 in this set. Leyla's convinced that a banned Shelton versus Alcaraz US Open final will be crazy. Watching Djokovic, I would not be surprised if that happened. Shelton's got a big serve. Provided he doesn't let the occasion get to him, he could manage it. I don't know. But it depends if he's got more options than Fritz. Really. But yeah, at the minute, we are. At the minute, it's kind of not that competitive. Or Fritz isn't making it compared to it should be. Ben Shelton's biggest test of his career. Djokovic over 5 sets. Yes. What did you make of his match against Alcaraz in? Was it? Where did they play? It was Toronto, wasn't it? They played, and it was straight sets for Alcaraz, but Shelton was kind of in it. Like I think one of those sets was a tiebreak, right? So I definitely remember him acquitting himself well in that match. Yes, some shortcomings were exposed, but it's Alcaraz. But yeah, pretty confident in. But yeah, pretty confident that maybe Shelton would deal with it a bit better, maybe with a bit more crowd support. That was Canada rather than the US, and obviously Arthur Ashe Stadium with full of Americans is a very different atmosphere. Although maybe, actually, Layla, you were predicting Daria Kasatkina to come through against Sabalenka. How are you feeling after that, really? Not to get to you, I've had my fair share of silly predictions. I thought Iga Swiatek would handle Jelena Ostapenko. I was very wrong. Especially, and a little annoyed that I was kind of right, because the performance I thought Ostapenko would put in, she ended up putting it against Coco Gauff and not Iga Swiatek. That being said, I think from the performance Gauff has been putting in, I think she might have beaten Iga yesterday or earlier today if they were the ones playing. But we're all that's all kind of speculation, really. Forehand from Fritz into the Djokovic forehand, which is into the net. Sorry, I got distracted there. Something made a strange noise. Love 15 on the Djokovic serve, and Djokovic is not exactly happy at the minute with something. I think he knows that even though he's winning, he's not playing his best right now. He's still on 50. Okay, he's slowly ticking the first serves up to 50%, so that's good. So it's slowly improving through the match, but I think he's hoping for something a little better over the course of things. But yeah, it's impressive, really, that he's got the edge over someone with as much firepower as Taylor Fritz, despite everything. Misses the first serve again. Not particularly happy, it has to be said. Layla's predicting that Sorana Castello will take care of Mukova and then take care of Gauff. Mukova, maybe. I think Mukova might be able to absorb the pace that Castello's playing out. Great forehand winner from Taylor Fritz, set up 15-30, by the way. Keep an eye on that. I mean, Castello's feeling brave at the minute, so she's definitely going to take it to Mukova. I think Gauff is a different prospect, regardless, in the semi-finals, especially in that cauldron Ash is going to be. So, yeah, I think Gauff will be relieved with that easier straight sets win compared to some of the 3-setters she's been having. But we'll have to see. I think Coco's the favourite to make it through to the women's final now. Forehand from Fritz. Djokovic is scrambling that one. Fritz comes into the net to finish, which he does. 15-40, break point to get back on terms in this second set. Fritz has already broken the Djokovic serve once. He's got 2 more opportunities to do it. Djokovic bending over, wipes his head with a towel. That was a very, very good point from Fritz. That was a point that he feels very comfortable in dictating play with the big forehand. He's got his sleeves rolled up so high, he may as well just have gone sleeveless like Tiafoe and Shelton. I don't know why he didn't bother with that, to be honest. Djokovic has a break point against him. Forehand from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic, moving Fritz around. Fritz gets the backhand into play. Djokovic goes on the attack with the backhand down the line. Fritz scrambles it. Djokovic is having to come into the net. Doesn't need to worry about it because the ball just did not make it over to his side of the court, and that's the first break point saved. And that was very assertive play from Novak Djokovic. Very assertive. 30-40 though, still another break point chance for Taylor Fritz, who's kind of blinking a bit. Maybe he's got, that's the kind of the, oh, there's sweat in my eyes, look. Been there on the tennis court. Djokovic serves into the net. Into the net from Novak Djokovic. Opportunities continue to come for Taylor Fritz. It's another second serve to look at. Djokovic serves, backhand in play from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic, forehand from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic. So it's just sticking to the middle of the court at the minute. It's fairly neutral. Now Fritz puts the angle on the backhand, forehand from Fritz moving Djokovic around, then goes back behind Djokovic with his forehand, but then Djokovic neutralizes again, then goes a bit more cross-court on the backhand. Fritz goes long on his backhand and he's frustrated. That was a wait to see who makes the error kind of rally, and it was Fritz, as is typical, who is the first to blink. And we're at deuce. 2 break points saved by Novak Djokovic. Not ideal. And it has to be said, the Taylor Fritz serving stats are not looking as good as Djokovic is now. Djokovic is now up to 50%. Taylor Fritz is at 46%. Djokovic is now at deuce. Goes to saying Americans men's tennis makes him very happy to talk about American women's tennis. Look, there's a lot to be excited about in American women's tennis because you've got Coco Gauff, who looks like she's going to be an absolute superstar. And Madison Keys, I think, is in a great position to get to another US Open semi-final. Peyton Stearns excites everyone at the minute. There's a couple of other names I'm aware of coming through the field that we need to keep an eye out for. Jessica Pegula is not going away anytime soon. Oh, huge forehand return from Fritz. Winner. Advantage Fritz. Another breakpoint chance. But you shouldn't be too down on it. I mean, you've got, on the men, you've got Tiafoe, who, okay, maybe he might not win a major, but absolutely love watching him play. And I think he's got a few big results at the US Open to come. Ben Shelton, I think, still remains a huge prospect. Sebi Corda, if he can get his act together, it's got a lot of potential still. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a complete disaster for the American tennis at the minute. Djokovic got a second serve, by the way. Just not happy at all. Oh, there was a let call. That's why. Ghost throwing out some American women names. Yeah, Fiona Crawley, I need to watch her play. Jen Brady being back is brilliant. She's definitely a contender, especially from the way she played the last few weeks. Obviously, on a hard court, she's probably one of the ones to beat on that surface. And Alicia Parks, scary serve. Scary good. I remember watching her in Birmingham. She won over quite a few fans when she was there, particularly performance in the doubles alongside Sol Hunter. Fritz has gone over falls onto his knees, and Djokovic saves break point with a forehand winner. Sebi Corda is massively frustrating because we know he's good, but he just only shows it a couple of times a year. Really. I mean, yeah, he had match point against Djokovic. He reached the Queen's final against Alcaraz, but his big results, I was massively impressed with him at Wimbledon 2021 when he beat Evans and almost beat Chachanov. But yeah, he can play some brilliant tennis, but or was it semi? I thought it was the final. Yeah, he lost to Alcaraz in the semis, not the final. Stimanor Alcaraz played in the final. Yeah, I like how Corda plays, but I'm not necessarily, in terms of playing stuff, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of his how he handles his tennis. his mentality. So I don't know if that's a sufficient compromise. I think if Korda got himself together, he could play some of brilliant tennis. So I'm not joining the Korda loving just yet. Inside out 400 from Djokovic, trying to save another break point. Fritz goes long, deuce. And just this relentless refusal to lose from Novak Djokovic, because that's who Novak Djokovic is now at 36. We saw, like, typically, we've seen the most typical performance I can think of is that Wimbledon final 2019 against Federer, Djokovic just refused to lose that match. And so many of Djokovic's matches, just him refusing to lose. And this is what's happening right now. Huge forehand from Fritz, backhand again, keeping Djokovic on the back foot. But Djokovic is putting some nice length on his own shots at the minute. Really great rally from these two. Just Djokovic middles that one a little bit more. Great angle from Fritz on the backhand, trying to move Djokovic around, but goes into the net, top of the net. And he's frustrated with himself because he was going up the line and it hits the net. And Djokovic now has a game point for the first time in this game. I don't know, Jake. And with Shrihari, I think Djokovic is playing below par for him. He's just finding a way to win, despite that, because he can win at whatever his 60% of his level. His serving stats are way too low. He's throwing away too many points in the minute. Yeah, okay, it's only 15 unforced errors, but it's still not ideal. He's making, like, he's in control, but he's making it way harder. Fritz tries to run down a drop shot, puts the forehand wide, 3-1, Taylor Fritz. And yeah, he looks very despondent because he knows he had so many opportunities in that game. He's kind of dragging his feet, really. John is getting a falafel because that's what you do. Fritz is looking rather despondent because he knows he's having opportunities here. He should rightfully be frustrated. There's the first serve, forehand winner from Fritz, 15-love. He wants to get another game on the board here, I think. Because otherwise, this really is going to turn into a beatdown. Because Djokovic, I think, is kind of cruising, really. Cruising, well, maybe not cruising. Because cruising implies that he's just hitting through Fritz, or completely outplaying him. I think he's just bringing a level that's good enough to not lose. And maybe that's what Djokovic... Oh, that's a beautiful backhand went out the line from Djokovic, though. Reluctant apology for a net cord that helped him out a bit there, but 15-all. I mean, maybe Djokovic will grow into the match and he'll take a bit more control. But I think this is the difference between watching Djokovic kind of keep himself in front versus watching Iga Świątek or Roger Federer keeping themselves in front. Is Djokovic plays well enough that he just doesn't miss. And whereas watching Świątek or Federer back in the day, I mean, Federer used to just be relentless, absolutely relentless, and that was a joy to watch. It was an absolute joy to watch him just maintain that aggressive level, even though he didn't need to, and then start to play with his food a bit and throw in some crazy drop shots or whatever. Maybe Djokovic at a lower level both these great players at a lower level than they can use than their top still looks great. I mean, for me, I would prefer to watch Federer in mid-gear than Djokovic in mid-gear. What more control do I want for Shrihari want? How about some love service games? Holding to love or 15. Because he's not really done that yet. His best service game has been to 30. He's had to face so many break points, Djokovic. So many break points. Was it Fritz has had 6 breakpoint chances against him this match? Djokovic had the same number against Fritz. Big forehand from Fritz to get to 40-30. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that this is Djokovic winning despite everything Fritz is throwing at him, and despite not necessarily. And also, like I would say, Djokovic serving at sort of 60% first serve, 70% first serves, and holding to love or to 15 more often. And then I'm with you with kind of he's controlling the match. Yeah, Djokovic has won 4 out of 6 break points. That's a good point. He's been much better at taking his chances than Fritz has. I also don't think that Djokovic has been allowing Fritz to take chances. It's all relative, really. I mean, I don't think any other player can be as resilient as Novak Djokovic is being. I guess what I want Djokovic is looking good. He's in control, but he's not looking dominant. Lob from Djokovic lands in. Fritz puts the forehand away. Advantage. Advantage for Taylor Fritz right now to try and hold serve again. That's his 10th forehand winner compared to Djokovic's 3 on the forehand. Most of Djokovic's winners coming from the backhand side because Djokovic has hit 12 winners. Pulling Taylor Fritz. It's an hour and 13 on the clock. Goes up. Fritz goes up wide. That's an ace. Great job from Fritz. He holds 2-3. He's keeping himself within touching distance of the set. It's only the one break, and he's changing his shirt. Yeah, given that he in previous service games like that, Fritz has been broken. That's going to probably give him a little bit of a confidence boost, giving, the only other service game he held was to love. Yeah, I think Taylor's going to be happy that he's finally won a more scrappy game. Let's have a water there. So there you go. So we're at the minute, yeah, it's an interesting match right now. Maybe not necessarily interesting in the sense of competitive, but there's merit to it. I still think that Djokovic has got to play much better than this in his semi-final. Well, maybe not much better than this in his semi-final. But he definitely needs to play much better than this if he makes the final and is playing Alcaraz. Because Alcaraz will be taking these opportunities that Taylor Fritz is not. I think Alcaraz has the capability to take advantage of these opportunities that Taylor Fritz is not. And it's very fine margins. I mean, Taylor Fritz is the number 9 seed. He's only 8 places off the world number 1. It's just that the steps get steeper the higher up you go. And the matchups become ever more important. The gap between 49 and 50 is practically nothing. The gap between 8 and 9 is maybe knee to ankle, possibly. I think we're in for an interesting run to the end of the season in terms of the ATP race. If I'm just having a look at it now, actually, just for my own interest. I mean, at the minute, Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Medvedev have all qualified for the finals in Turin. You got Jannik Sinner in 4th, Andrei Rublev 5th, Stefanos Tsitsipas 6th, Holger Rune 7th, and then Alexander Zverev in 8th. Just 20 points in front of Taylor Fritz. And then Casper Ruud in 10th. A little bit of a way back, actually, about 400 points back behind Taylor Fritz, with Alex de Minaur and Tommy Paul breathing down his neck. But we've still got the Shanghai Masters. We've still got the Paris Masters. All can change. Someone could make a real bid for spaces. But overall, I'm pretty confident that Yannick Sinner is going to be there. Rublev, Tsitsipas, and Rune. Rublev and Tsitsipas should be there. I would expect Rune to make it, but he's got Zverev and Fritz breathing down his neck. I think it might be a bit of a battle towards the end of the season, but that's what the conversation is going to become once the US Open is done, is who's going to qualify. But yeah, there's definitely been a clear sort of top 7 names, and then it's all kind of a fight for the 8th spot. 15-all, by the way, on the Djokovic serve at 3-2. At the minute, Zverev holding that space. Maybe he's the most likely one to get it, but we'll have to see how it progresses. I'm kind of hoping. I know Holger Rune is not. Holger is kind of in danger of not making it based on the points he's got so far. I hope he does. I think it makes things a lot more interesting if he is. You've got an ATP finals with Djokovic, Alcaraz, Medvedev, Rune, and Sinner in the mix. Yeah, bring that on. Rublev and Tsitsipas will probably get eaten up. So would Zverev or whoever gets in that 8th spot. Fritz, Ruud. Well, Ruud did do better last year than we expected. Forehand winner from Djokovic, 40-15. This is what I'm talking about. This is a more comfortable service hold. Making it quick, putting the pressure straight back on Taylor Fritz. He's not closed it out just yet, but give him a minute. Puts the first serve into the net. Not ideal. Our first serve percentage is climbing up. He's up to 55% now. He's up to 55% now as Djokovic. So it is climbing. Forehand from Djokovic, backhand from Fritz. The forehand of Djokovic cross court. Forehand Fritz. Long. Djokovic gets the game. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. This is the Djokovic I think everyone else has been seeing. (4-2) Djokovic, second set. 6-1, 4-2. Pressure back on Taylor Fritz. Came through that previous service game well, ish. I mean, he did have a few game point opportunities, but we'll have to see how that goes. Goes out wide with the first serve. Finishes off with a +1 backhand. Great shot from Fritz. Winner, 15-love. And these guys they're both a little bit more settled on serve now, maybe. Maybe. Fritz still has some improvements to do. His win percentage on behind first serve still pretty good. When he's getting it in. He's just not getting it in often enough. And 20% win percentage on the second serve. There you go. That's why he's been broken so many times. I know that A, Djokovic's return, and B, again, the rally tolerance. Djokovic is so much better when they get into a rally. He's got so many more things he can do. 50-all, by the way. Great serve out wide from Fritz. Djokovic just about gets it back in play, runs down the backhand. Fritz goes backhand to the Djokovic backhand, but he goes wide trying to get up the line. 15, and it's 30-15. That was one of those haymaker backhands that was either going to be a brilliant winner or losing the point. It was a low margin shot. And such is the fine line between genius and folly, even for the greatest player of all time. Maybe. I still have the asterisk of maybe by it for Djokovic. Great return from Fritz, for backhand from Fritz. Djokovic still managed to reach it though, and Fritz now puts his backhand up the line into the top of the net, 30-all. Again, similar thing, trying to go for the backhand up the line winner, but instead of hitting it in the tram lines, he's put it in the top of the net. Again, first serve from Fritz, +1 forehand winner, 40-30. And the crowd are trying to get behind Fritz now. Really trying to G him on. Fritz bouncing the ball. Getting ready. Serves out wide. Djokovic just gets that return over the net. Backhand from Fritz. Djokovic scrambles it. No, couldn't even get it over near the net. It's a game to Fritz. That's the third game. That's Fritz's third game, his third hold. And it's 4-3 as they change ends. Obviously, we've got other commentaries coming up for the other quarterfinals that are happening. Night session gets underway in just under 4 hours from now with Karolina Muchova against Sorana Castella. Karolina Muchova against Sorana Castella is an interesting one. I think Castella could be disruptive, but I think Muchova should soak up the pace she throws at her. And then Tiafoe versus Shelton, I'm having trouble calling that one, to be honest. I really am having trouble calling Tiafoe or Shelton. I think it's going to be fun, whoever wins. I can't predict it. I mean, I could go either way on that one. I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant, that match. And I think the American crowd is going to be in for a treat. But yeah, we'll have commentaries of those matches from our probably slightly sleep-deprived crew of John and Damien. I think Damien's involved. I don't know. He has been for a lot of matches, such as the sleep schedule of a European tennis fan in the American season. Going around the grounds a little bit, on Louis Armstrong, we've got Brady and Stefani are a break-up in the deciding set against Linette and Pera in their women's doubles quarterfinal. In the men's doubles quarterfinals, Ivan Dodig and Austin Krajicek are a game away from the first set against Hugo Nice and Jan Zelensky. So if you're a doubles fan, you want to know what's going on there. I think those are the main things going on sort of around the grounds. Just having a look and seeing what other live scores we've got going on. Obviously, there's quite a few junior matches happening right now. We've also got the wheelchairs in action. So Van Koot and De Gief are getting underway on court 9. Plenty of women's singles in the wheelchairs happening. Also quad singles. Sam Schroeder is getting underway. Players are warming back up on court 13 between Lapthorne and Shaw. But yeah, overall, we've got some doubles, juniors, wheelchairs, and the singles as Djokovic is playing against Fritz. We're back out. Djokovic is already at 30 love. Already at 30 love with a fantastic drop shot to set the point up. Fritz couldn't run it down. This is now Djokovic in full flow. He says, as Djokovic has missed the first serve. Oh, well. Djokovic gets ready. Backhand from Fritz into the net. Tricky second serve. Kicks up. Fritz, having to take the backhand at shoulder height, puts it in the net. 40 love. Can Djokovic get his first love hold of the match and continue to assert himself here? Up the tee on the serve. Great job. Unreturned. And Djokovic holds to love. There we go. Djokovic is now, his last 2 service games, he definitely looks in control. And he is, I would say, now about to hit cruise control because he's looking comfortable. He's serving well. He's got an answer to Fritz on the ground. We'll have to see, can Fritz keep this set to 1 break? Can Fritz keep the set to 1 break? Serves out wide. The forehand of Fritz up the line. just makes it. But Djokovic goes long trying to get to it on the run. 15 love for Fritz. Here's a question for everyone. What's your opinion of Taylor Fritz? He's clearly got some limitations. He did very well to get that Indian Wells title last year. Maybe slightly fortunate to be dealing with an injured Rafa in the final, but fair play to him. He took his chance because we've seen him against Nadal and Djokovic in Grand Slams when they've been injured and him not be able to take advantage of the opportunity. Djokovic in the 2021 Australian Open and Nadal in the 2022 Wimbledon Championships. But yeah, I think there's plenty to be excited about for. I think there's plenty for Fritz. He's super consistent throughout the year. I think if you're a Taylor Fritz fan, you're going to be happy more days than you're not. Obviously, if all you care about is can he beat the best guys, I think there's a clear limitation. Backhand winner from Djokovic, 30-15, great job up the line. That's a Djokovic special right there. Fritz went for the big forehand. Djokovic replied with a brilliant backhand. Yeah, I think Taylor Fritz has got. I think Taylor Fritz has got a lot to be proud of from his career. And the fact he's 9th in the race, I keep saying this. I mean, like maybe he might drop as the year progresses, but I think it's all right. Oh, he's missed the inside-out forehand, 30 all, and suddenly he's put Djokovic 2 points away from grabbing the set on the double break. So yeah, there's a few of you watching. What's your view on Taylor Fritz? Do you enjoy watching him play? Do you think he's got another 1,000 title in him? Do you see him making second weeks of slams more often now, maybe? Great ace from Fritz, 40-30. I mean, this is the third time he's made the second week of a slam in his career, which is somewhat surprising given the play of his caliber, but hopefully that's a sign of he might be improving. That, or maybe he's going to be a Hubert Hurkacz. We'll have to see. I mean, actually, yeah, maybe that's harsh on Hubert Hurkacz. I don't know. I don't like being harsh on players, to be honest. 40-30. Fritz goes out wide with a serve but misses it. Trying to keep this to the one break. Double faults. Second serve into the net. He was going for too much on it. It's deuce. Looks a little bit disappointed in himself, Taylor Fritz. Not surprised, to be honest. Djokovic just gets his head down and gets on with getting ready to return as Fritz serves. Djokovic, backhand return just wide. He was going for a super short return. It was the right idea. It was just wide, and Fritz had advantage to try and close this game out. We're going for a try and keep the set very tight. I mean, like this set feels more like how the first set felt, because the first set had a lot of competitive games despite the scoreline. Ace from Fritz, 5-4, job done. Not quite done. Djokovic has now got to come out and serve for the second set to solidify his advantage in this match. All right, well, we've still got a few people watching. And there's a few of you watching. How do you see tonight's match between Tiafoe and Shelton going? I said I couldn't call it. Can you? Who do you think's winning? We'll definitely be across that if we can be. But yeah, Tiafoe or Shelton, who's winning? It's about 20 of you in the chat. I'm sure there's an opinion out there somewhere. But yeah. All right, we're getting ready. Djokovic is wiping himself off with a bag of ice, trying to cool down in these very hot and humid conditions. It's a bit drier in the UK, but still very hot. Unusually for September. got ourselves an Indian summer. Djokovic is now coming out to serve for a 2-set love lead. Looking forward to seeing if I'm looking forward to seeing how this one kind of pans out. Can Djokovic close it out easily? Will he get nervous again? Where we at with this? Again, he's progressively improved over the course of this match, has Novak Djokovic. He is progressively improved. I will give him that. He was at 27% at the beginning of the match. He's now at 57%. First serves in play. That's all you need. That's all you need, really. I mean, a lot of professional tennis is about getting your first serve in because it gives you such the advantage, particularly in the men's game, but also in the women's. Where are we at? Djokovic bounces the ball, gets ready, serves. Fritz gets the Fritz return, goes long, 15-love. Good serve from Djokovic to get us going, get us started. Djokovic, who will be ranked world number 1 on Monday, regardless of how the rest of the tournament plays out. He has done enough, benefiting from only being able to gain points, having not been able to play the US Open last year. Forehand from Djokovic into the backhand corner of Fritz. Fritz nets the backhand, 30-love. Djokovic looking determined. Only hit 7 unforced errors this set compared to Fritz's 14. Which, yeah, that's also a marked improvement compared to the first set where Djokovic was only hit 11 unforced errors. Big forehand winner from Djokovic. 40-love, 3 set points. Fritz had 19 unforced errors at the end of the first set. His unforced error count is a little too high. Djokovic goes to 40-love. Ace up the tee, job done, 6-4. This is the Novak Djokovic we've been looking for. Novak Djokovic very much in control here. Yeah, looking like the better player around now, looking more assertive, looking more assured. He's controlling the serve. He's in Taylor Fritz's service games. He's 2 sets to love up. I'm going to give us a quick break. I think you're all probably sick of watching the preview video. It's not quite going. I don't know. But yeah, let's take while the players are having a break, let's take a break.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Alrighty. Well then, got something to talk about now because they have just released the schedule for tomorrow, at least in the singles. It'll all be on Ash again, and it'll start with Arina Sabalenka versus Jean Chin Wen, followed by Daniel Medvedev against Andrei Rublev, and that is your day session. Your night session is Marketa Vondrousova against Madison Keys, followed by Carlos Alcaraz against Alexander Zverev. No surprises there, I don't think. I think they've all those quarterfinals have got a lot of merit to them. And it'll be interesting to see how that one works out. Sabalenka Zheng, I was talking about that one with Ghosty earlier. That's all depends on how Zheng comes out. Medvedev and Rublev. Medvedev has a matchup advantage in that one, but Rublev might get a set. But I can see why you might be concerned that that's going to be a bit one-sided. Most of their matches have been in the past. I think Medvedev has only lost a match to Rublev when a TV camera got involved. Night session, though, I think if you've got night session tickets for Arthur Ashe, I think there's going to be a great atmosphere as they cheer on Madison Keys, looking for another US Open semi-final against the Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova, who is suffering from injury concerns at the minute. And then, of course, Alcaraz versus Zverev, two players who have definitely had their battles in the past. It'll be interesting to see what they could do. I still think it's advantage Alcaraz. Here we go. Go see it with Cincinnati in 2021, the year Medvedev won the US Open, because he was on a fantastic hard-court streak. And then, he ran into the camera and then lost concentration, lost the match to Rublev, who then lost the final to Zverev. I mean, that hard-court season, in retrospect, it was all about Djokovic to see whether he could get the Grand Slam. But in reality, Medvedev and Zverev were hitting a really rich vein of form around that point. Yeah, there we go. That was the incident in question. It was a little bit awkward, really, for everyone involved. Feel sorry for the cameraman, to be honest. I think they have finally moved those out of the way. But yeah, not the cameraman's fault. He was just doing his job. Oh well. Jennifer Brady, by the way, Ghosty, you mentioned her in the chat earlier. She's through into the semi-finals of the women's doubles with Luisa Stefani from Brazil. Meanwhile, Dogging and Krajicek are a setup in the men's doubles quarterfinals taking place against Nice and Zelensky. And that's all our main updates. But of course, our main focus is the singles with Novak Djokovic putting on a show, or at least putting on a show, taking control against Taylor Fritz, leading by 2 sets to love. 2 sets to love against Taylor Fritz. Kind of going how we thought. Fritz is doing his best, but just a little bit too much from Djokovic at the minute. And we kind of suspected that, right? Most of their matches have gone that way. I know they had that ATP finals match. Fritz maybe had a chance there. But I don't know. It's quite clear that in this matchup, Djokovic's got a handle for anything. If you're wondering why we're not talking about sort of the action on court right now, Djokovic is not on the court. He's walked off. He's gonna come back. Otherwise, that'd be a bit weird for him to just go 2 sets to love up and then walk off court. Maybe because he knows it's a best of 5 and not a best of 3 match. That would be a very unusual way to end. Would be, I'm bored, I'm going home. It's not exactly dominant anymore, Djokovic. He's got Alcaraz to worry about. It's not like he could be bored. A year or two ago, we were talking about who could really challenge him. I think Medvedev only beat him at the US Open because he was he wasn't himself in that tournament fully. Although having said that, Medvedev was playing at a very high level. And I think Medvedev's kind of going to the radar a bit because, when he's playing, he's making all the headlines and, he's having a lot of fun, his matches. A lot of fun matches, great interactions with the crowd. being to his free, sarcastic self. Maybe he's playing like that because he knows not everyone's talking about Alcaraz and Djokovic, and he can just get on with it. Max, hey! Always good to see you. This probably means this chat's going to get very musical. I'm up for that. Yeah. I think I saw Mehdi's tweener, Ghost. I'm not sure. I think I did. But that was yes, I did actually. Yeah, that was a great one. But yeah, maybe Medvedev is going to show up in the US Open semi-finals and go, "Now this is my terrain." He's going to make things a bit more competitive with Alcaraz than recent matches have been. Although maybe that's a bit of wishful thinking. Yes, Kasatkina, great tween lob against Taylor Townsend. Max, Shelton, Tiafoe. Yes, I'm expecting that to be more interesting. If nothing else, they're both going to be trying to pull something crazy off. I'm expecting some exhibition rallies. It's going to be great. I think those of you Americans who have got an evening in will be in for a treat because, well, I mean, you've got the women's match first. I don't think it's going to take much more than a couple of hours. So we'll have to see how that goes. Thoughts on the Coco and Ostapenko match? I think that, what happened earlier? Yeah, Ostapenko, too many errors, way too many errors. She played how I thought she was going to play against Iga, but she peaked against Iga. Coco also looked very controlled, very assertive. Was able to live a little bit with Ostapenko. So yeah, that was a tough one. Zverev, yes, that's a good way of describing that Zverev Cinematch Max. I'm just looking at who Townsend hit that tweener with. Yeah, I think it might have been Mukova. You're right, because Mukova beat Townsend. And that was a tough one for Mukova because Townsend was really in that. Fritz holds his opening service game in the set, by the way. I mean, the tweeners, I've never dared hit a tweener. I think I've been on a tennis court where it's crossed my mind as the only way to get the ball back in court, but I've never attempted one in my life. And the cautious part of my brain is going, no. Good grief! Look at the Djokovic backhand hit points on the screen. And Djokovic, when he's pulled out extremely on his backhand side, he's winning points more often than when he's more mid-court, which is interesting. But now he's coming out to serve. He's been very assured in his last 3 service games, Djokovic. But a set's a good chance to reset. And he's kind of reset himself a little bit. First serve in play, out wide. Djokovic goes cross-court on the backhand, but goes long, love 15. You say, yeah, tweet is a tad maybe riskier for us guys, but we tend to attempt it more often than the girls. Just a thought. Great serve from Djokovic up the tee, unreturned, 15-all. Great job from Novak there to sort of reset after that 117 mile an hour on that serve. You're definitely looking more assured at the minute compared to the beginning of the match. Out wide on the first serve again. Another first serve found this game. Fritz backhand into the net as Djokovic is coming in, 30-15. How's that trusty first serve in percentage? Yeah, it's now broken the 60 barrier, 62%. Night and day compared to how the match started. Arguably, Djokovic is playing better, the match is closer. First serve into the net this time. Is Djokovic the heat in the US Open? Hard to say, really. I mean, maybe. I mean, he's certainly preparing to play at night with the cooler conditions, but still, Oh gosh, okay. Djokovic is forced into a backhand error by Fritz, who had a very good backhand shot himself, and it's 30-all. So Fritz has now got himself into a Djokovic service game for the first time in a while. But yeah, the heat, I don't know, maybe. It would make sense. John's preview earlier. Forehand from Djokovic to the Fritz backhand goes cross court. Djokovic is moving Fritz around. Fritz goes cross court again. Djokovic goes back behind Fritz. Djokovic goes up the line on the forehand. Backhand from Fritz to the forehand of Djokovic on the attack. Fritz tries to run it down. It just goes over the line, and it's 30-all. Second set, Jake. Djokovic played better. Got himself into the his first serve percentage up. He started holding more comfortably. Fritz also improved throughout the set, but he went down an early break and hasn't looked convincing on his serve apart from the opening game of the second set. So yeah, I think as Djokovic aces to hold to 30, 1-all. Both have improved, but it's clear that the Djokovic improvement has actually increased the gap between him and Fritz in performance. So Fritz is going to have to hope for some kind of Djokovic dip here, I think. I could see the set going to a tiebreak maybe. They're both a little bit more assured on serve now. Great serve from Fritz as the Djokovic return is long. It's 15-love. Well, Theo's very welcome to join the Talking Tennis community. I think that's waking on to remember. Backhand from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic, moving each other around at the minute. Fritz going from side to side, puts the forehand into the top of the high part of the net, 15-all. At the minute, yeah, forehand of unforced errors. Fritz hitting double the amount to Djokovic. It's interesting because, yeah, he's been hitting a lot to the Djokovic backhand, and Djokovic has been absolutely happy to live with that. The Fritz forehand is, great ace from Fritz to get that point, 30-15. The Fritz forehand is kind of a double-edged sword for him this match because it's been brilliant. A lot of his winners are coming from that wing. And it's been absolutely brutal to watch at points. But it's also been his downfall at a lot of points. 30-15. Serve out wide from Fritz on the first serve. Back behind, backhand winner. The backhand's firing now. 40-15. Yeah, Fritz is definitely getting himself more into this match. Looking more like the player who kind of cruised through the opening few rounds, only being broken the once. Great first serve from Fritz. Djokovic return is wide. 2-1, change events.
How's it going, Nick?
Just
pop by to say hello. Nothing more, nothing less.
Hello. Am I in trouble?
No, more than anything else, I want to sort of elaborate on something you were saying midway through the second set regarding Novak and sort of a lack of control. At least I think I saw something in the messages, because I think I felt the same and still kind of do, because I think when we think in tennis about control, we think, how comfortably are you holding serve? You know, you could be leading 6-4 love, but if you're constantly vulnerable on your serve and you're watching an opponent that's hitting the net on shots that normally he or she doesn't, it doesn't feel like the match is done. It doesn't feel like there's a sense of control. You could be leading a set and a break, but your opponent is just coming nowhere near on your serve. And that's kind of where we sort of gauge control, and understandably so, because the other way around, you can say, yeah, but if you're always in on your opponent's service games, that's good. That's true, but that might not last. You know, against Taylor Fritz or Novak Djokovic, one of those two guys can easily do 12 service games in a row where you're just not in on it. So that's kind of what I was feeling during that first set and a half. Yeah, I know what you mean, because this is not me coming on here saying, here comes the Taylor Fritz comeback. I just want to elaborate on. I mean, and there's no way that Novak was playing his best tennis throughout the first set and a half either, even if the scoreboard now is looking very good. That's all I wanted to say, and you can respond to that while I go again backstage and also elaborate on the match.
Well, I have to say, John, thanks for the backup, John, because it's exactly what I'm thinking. You know, Djokovic is, Djokovic. That was a tougher. It was a bigger score gap, 6-1, for that first set and a half. And as they've both got better, it's got closer. And that actually exemplifies a lot of Novak Djokovic's career, is that if you're both playing badly, he's still going to win. Really, I mean, you have to bring your best to have a chance. That's what Laszlo Djere did. Laszlo Djere brought his best for 2 sets against Djokovic and really took it to him, but it couldn't last. Djokovic is the kind of player who grows into a match and doesn't go away. Backhand to the net from Fritz, 15-love. So yeah, I think that's all I'm saying. Is Djokovic still wins. That's just Djokovic. That's who he is. I don't know if Ghost is just winding John up because he finds it funny, or whether he's genuinely an Arsenal fan. I'm going to go with, since that he's probably not heard of soccer since following this channel run by a bunch of Brits. I'm going to go with he's just going for to try and find ways of winding John up. But maybe I'm being deeply insulting, and actually he's been a Premier League fan for the last 30 years. Which is, more than me. Yeah. I mean, look, let's face it. I know, Ghost, that you also like to find ways to wind me up about anything to do with, Iga Świątek. But I have to say, you've been very, I have to say, appreciate the magnanimous way you handled victory in that scenario. Hello? He's gone. He's pressed the wrong button. He's pressed the wrong button. Could have been worse. I
wanted to show my what's the word? Frustration. I that's kind of like Ostapenko today, but also how I feel as a Man United fan about Sunday's match still 3 days later.
I've just learned not to mention it to my Man United friends. You very well, as soon as I saw that, as that goal went in, don't mention it. Just don't mention it. Don't talk about the football tomorrow. Djokovic at 40-15. I don't think he's thinking about the football. I think he's a football fan. I think he might be more of a basketball fan, because Serbia's actually got quite a strong basketball contingent. There's only a few very good basketball players. But maybe he supports Red Star Belgrade whenever they make it into Europe. Forehand from Djokovic up the line to the backhand of Fritz, cross court. Drop shot from Djokovic. Fritz has to scramble to get to it, and he can't get it over the net. Game Djokovic 2-1, 2-all, holds to 15. Who do I support in football? Exeter City. That's League One team. That's where I grew up. Now I live in Stoke-on-Trent, so I do want the local teams up here to do well, because they're also plucky underdogs, particularly Port Vale, who occasionally do play Exeter City. So that's always fun to talk about with people at work. If you ask me who my favourite Premier League team is, it's Liverpool at the minute. But that's only for as long as Jurgen Klopp is the manager. If Jurgen Klopp leaves, I'll probably change my allegiance. I'm fired, aren't I? And with good cause. Anyway, love 15 on the Taylor Fritz serve. Yeah, go for it. Google Maps Stoke-on-Trent. If you find my house, I am going to be concerned. It's Djokovic, great sort of drop shot winner at the net. Great serve from Fritz. Djokovic gets it into play. Backhand from Djokovic, looped up. Fritz forehand inside out. Winner, 15-all. Yeah, not great opportunity from Fritz. But two really good points actually. Great, and the tennis quality is going up as this match is continuing. Max is imagining herself seeing a Judy Garland performance. Clearly, that's more interesting than the tennis that's going on. Agreed with Ghost. Mo Salah's a great watch sometime. But yeah, Stoke-on-Trent, for those of you who don't know, it's pretty much exactly between the UK cities of Manchester and Birmingham, which I'm also aware are parts of America, but it's not halfway between Alabama and New Hampshire, because that would be over the top. Great shot from Taylor Fritz. His boxer loving it, and it's I don't think the score's changed over. I think it's 30-15. Great forehand winner from Taylor Fritz. Yeah, 30-15. Here we go. Fritz goes out wide. Great ace. Again, really great. Really good job there. Again, he's really grown into this match as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a Manchester in the US. Could be wrong. Yeah, it's a city in New Hampshire. I only watch it. I only know it because I'm a big fan of the West Wing, and obviously Martin Sheen's character Jed Bartlett is from that episode, from that place. So yeah, and yeah, the movie as well. That's a good point. Manchester by the Sea. So yeah, US is too big. I mean, you said it, Ghost, not me. Fritz holds, by the way. So 2-3. This is definitely a competitive set. This is more like how we probably wanted the match to start, but at least we've got here eventually. They're both holding serve comfortably, but I think we're going to a tiebreak in this set. Djokovic will probably win that tiebreak because we know how he is in tiebreaks. Only Carlos Alcaraz can beat him in tiebreaks. We're into a change of ends anyway. Yes, let's think of some things a bit more happier. But yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers The West Wing. I appreciate that show was about 20 years old now. But oh, there we go. Think happy thoughts. Think of Daniel Medvedev running into a camera and pulling off tweeners and taunting the crowd. Maybe getting in, or maybe finding ways to be annoyed by the crowd. Hopefully the guy in the crowd that he called out did in fact get some sleep. All good fun though from Mr. Medvedev, and I think I'm interested to see how that match with Rublev goes tomorrow. Yeah, I'm with Ghosty. He's one of my favorite players just because he always finds a way to make me laugh. Or he can find a way to make me laugh when he's relaxed. And it doesn't necessarily have to be for a crazy shot, but just his sarcasm is incredible. His sarcasm is incredible. I love it. And I remember that moment of the more you boo, the more it helps me win. And that just won me over so much. That was it. Yes, that's the attitude you need. That's the attitude that they really secretly love in New York. Deserving US Open champion from a couple of years ago. I mean, this might be a dangerous question, but Max is talking about the picture of Mehdi running into a TV camera, being part of a tennis art gallery. What other photos from actual tennis matches would get put in a tennis art gallery? That would be interesting. What moments should be immortalized in some kind of in that format? Yes. What do you think? Like an oil painting, Ghosty, of the fish flop thing. That would be a fun thing to try and commission. Love 15 on the Djokovic serve. Forehand up the line from Djokovic. Fritz trying to run it down. Djokovic's going to come in with an overhead to finish it. Does the job. 15 all. Which match was it that Connor wagged his figure at McEnroe? Becker leaping. Yeah, that's always a good pick. Because I know what you're talking about, Ghosty. I just can't remember which match it was. Was it Wimbledon or was it the US Open? But for sure, iconic moments. Max, not bitter about the Enan incident with Serena at all. Backhand cross court to the backhand of Djokovic. The forehand of Fritz going to the Djokovic backhand corner, moving Djokovic around with his forehand. Great play from Fritz at the minute. Really great rally this. Forehand from Fritz. The backhand of Djokovic cross court. Fritz goes up the line. Djokovic has to scoop that one back. It's gone long, 15-30. And that is Fritz forcing the issue with Novak Djokovic, making him move until he forces the error. That's got to be the best point Taylor Fritz has played for a while on the Djokovic serve. And suddenly Fritz is back into Djokovic's service games. Yeah. And I'm not honestly asking for dates and locations. I was just wondering whether it was iconic enough that people would know. But yeah, we'll keep it. Clearly, Max is not a Novak fan. So maybe she's hoping for a Taylor Fritz break of serve. Bouncing the ball. Game ready. 15-30 on a second serve for Novak Djokovic. Serves. Fritz backhand into play. Backhand Djokovic, the backhand of Fritz, middle of the court. They're trading up the middle of the court at the minute on their backhands. Not doing anything too much. Fritz goes on the attack with a forehand, hits the winner, 15-40. Boom. And suddenly Fritz has the opportunity to take control of a third set. Rafa and Federer crying at the Laver Cup. Yeah, that was an iconic moment, I would say. Two great friends and rivals. Sort of celebrating, sharing an emotional moment together as one of them ended their career. I mean, are you just talking about talking about playing the clip of possibly in 4 sets, just that one line? If you can clip it. But let's see if Fritz can convert this break point. Djokovic, great first serve. Fritz somehow gets it back into play. Now drop shots Djokovic. And suddenly he's doing Djokovic things to Djokovic. Loops up for the lob, but Djokovic's got the overhead. Again, lob from Fritz, overhead from Djokovic. Fritz can't pick it up. Great job from Djokovic. Fritz did so well to hang in, though. But at the end of the day, Djokovic kind of had to win that point. He was too good not to. Yeah, just got the lob. That lob could have been brilliant, but just didn't have enough on it. Djokovic had an overhead, and I thought Djokovic put the overhead right back at Fritz to give him another bite of the cherry, but what he had was enough. Another break point. Another break point. 30-40. Djokovic says into the net, second serve. This is exactly what Taylor Fritz will want. He's going to move close to the baseline, given he's quite far back to try and receive that first serve. What kind of velocity are we going for here? What has Djokovic got? He's saved so many break points this match so far. Great job. Backhand in play from Fritz. The backhand of Djokovic. Again, keeping each other in their backhand corners. Djokovic puts some angle on that one. Fritz scrambles that one in. Djokovic is going to go and try and finish with a forehand. He does. Mid-court. Deuce. Great way to save break point. Djokovic now at deuce in this service game. Yeah, that's an iconic photo. Definitely. Showing the agony of tennis personified. I'm getting the sense that Max is not a Novak Djokovic fan. I'm also getting the sense that Max might be a Carlos Alcaraz fan. Oh no, not again. Up the middle. Oh, I thought that was an ace from Djokovic up the tee, but it wasn't. Oh, he's gonna have to try again here. Get another serve in play. Novak Djokovic serves. Forehand from Fritz. Forehand from Djokovic. Forehand from Fritz. Cross court wide, and Fritz looked like he was thinking about thwacking his racket against the ground, but then decides against it. Advantage Novak Djokovic. Fritz will be annoyed that his attempt at hitting a winner just went wide. And yet again, Djokovic is being tested a little bit more on his service games, which I find interesting. I'm just having a look now. His first serve percentage has dropped a little bit again. It's gone below 60%. Still not as bad as it was. But yeah, break points. Taylor Fritz, 1 from 8 on the Novak Djokovic serve. Djokovic has a second serve here. Yeah, second serve here. I'll go a little bit of another update in a minute, but backhand from Fritz. The backhand of Djokovic up the line. Fritz can't get to it. He was kind of in no man's land. Game Djokovic, who's roaring. He's roaring. This is the Novak Djokovic roar. He's pumping himself up. He does it again. Whether you find it obnoxious or whether you find it exhilarating, Novak Djokovic is switched on. He's ready to go, and he's coming for this win. 3 games all. By the way, we were talking about Taylor Townsend earlier. She and Leylah Fernandez are now on court for their quarterfinal against Dabrowski and Ratcliffe. Fernandez and Townsend are the 6th seeds. Dabrowski and Ratcliffe are the 16th seeds. And they're already an early break-up. Meanwhile, it's 1 set all between Nice and Zelensky and Dodig and Krajicek. So that men's doubles quarterfinal is going to be still going to be going the distance. Looking around the other courts, the wheelchair matches seem to be all fairly straightforward. No more straightforward than Sam Schroeder going through 6-love, 6-love. Generally, the wheelchairs don't get super competitive until some of the latter stage of the tournament. But when you watch the semi-finals and the final, they are actually absolutely great watches. 15 all, by the way. Fritz serves that wide. Djokovic just about gets that back in. Fritz has to attack on the +1 backhand. Djokovic still gets it back with incredible speed, but he can't get to that forehand winner, and it's 30-15 from Taylor Fritz. But that was just an example of how quick Novak Djokovic is and how he somehow just gets things back. Scrambles return, running all the way across the court, picks up that backhand. Fritz has to do a forehand half volley. Job done. Out the air. Second serve, 30-15. Out wide. Djokovic back in play. Forehand Djokovic cross court. Fritz has to pick it up. Djokovic again on the attack. Forehand from Fritz. They're both brilliant shots in this rally, just trying to push out as much pressure as possible. And Fritz is the one who buckles because, again, it's that cross-court forehand. When he's going for it, he's dragging it wide, and it's 30 all. 30 all for Novak on the Fritz serve at 3 all. Critical moments for the American, who had an opportunity to break Novak Djokovic in the previous game. He's now looking for this. Hey, Jane, didn't realize you were here. Serve out wide from Fritz. Missed. Second serve. Forehand in play from Djokovic. Backhand Fritz. Djokovic backhand back towards Fritz. Trading backhands at the minute. Djokovic has to scramble that one, though, because that backhand was too deep and too low from Taylor Fritz. 40-30. 40-30. Great rally from Fritz. That backhand was too good, even for Novak Djokovic. He's hoping that he's doing enough to dig himself out of trouble on this game. Fritz coming out to serve. You can see his box. Served out wide, but misses it. Second serve. I do find the heart thing a little bit odd, I will agree. But his fans like it. Backhand along from Fritz. He's frustrated with himself. It's deuce. More unforced errors from the American. He's hit 40 now over the course of the whole match. 40 unforced errors from Taylor Fritz, and they're really hurting him at the minute. Fritz serves long. That's that first serve percent. That first serve in percentage is slowly dropping, getting close to that 50 mark. Forehand winner from Fritz. He has the advantage to try and get this game point for a game point. It was a close call though, because it just hit the baseline. It was a risky shot. But Taylor Fritz now has advantage. Serves out wide. Djokovic gets his backhand in play. Djokovic gets it. Forehand Fritz into the net. It was slightly too close. It was too much he had to pick up. Juice on the Fritz serve. We'll see if we can get through this game. Whereas, iconic moments to do with Navratilova. That's a good question. I mean, one of her many titles, probably. Misses the first serve again, trying to go out wide. Taylor Fritz, not Martina Navratilova. That would be a plot twist. Up the tee on the second serve. Backhand Fritz under pressure from Djokovic. Going into the net on the backhand, and it's advantage Djokovic. Break point to try and take control of this third set. Fritz is frustrated again. That was another sort of backhand pickup again, really close to him. Not under a little bit of pressure, but you could still cap that as an unforced error, I would say. Fritz serves, gets the first serve in play. Djokovic gets the return in though. Fritz hits the top of the net with his forehand, scoops up that forehand from Djokovic. Fritz has to put back behind the baseline. He's gone long. Djokovic is looking determined. He's broken for 4-3. He is 2 games away from finishing this match off. Going back to Ghost coming back Navratilova, you could probably pick. Look, she was a great player. You could probably just pick some kind of action shot of her playing. What I was going to say is I do remember yesterday, Ghost, you and Sean were in the chat for I forget which match it was. I think it was Zheng. It could have been the match before that. But we were talking about what's the best season anyone's ever had, and percentage-wise, in terms of win percentage, Martina Navratilova, 1983, 99% matches won. I think she lost 1 match the entire year, which is, or maybe 2 matches, but that was an insane level of dominance from the Czech turned American. I think she was 98% the following year as well. It was just ridiculous. So yeah, there's your answer. Most dominant season in tennis. Pro tennis anyway. Completely unstoppable in 83. I think she was on for the Grand Slam, and then she lost to Hannah Sakova in the Australian Open. Back when the Australian Open was the last Slam of the year and not the first Slam of the year. And I think the Australian Open used to be on over Christmas, actually. I think even before they switched to December, to finishing in December, the Australian Open actually used to start around Boxing Day. Which, I don't know, I quite like the idea of spending my Christmas holidays watching tennis. Maybe my family wouldn't. Pro tennis anyway. But I mean, you say that, I'm genuinely in a league in this league I'm playing in Stoke-on-Trent, and There's a guy in it who's won it 14 consecutive times. It's not an annual thing because it lasts for like 2 months at a time. So what you're talking, maybe it's like unbeaten for a couple of years. You talk about Dave or Margaret Court, John. Anyway, so Djokovic is coming out serving at 4-3. Serving at 4-3. Hello, everyone who's joined us for the end of this match. It might be done in 2 games. It might be done in 3. Or Taylor Fritz might break back and get another. Might get another set. Who knows? That's the beauty of the tennis scoring system. It ain't over till it's over. It's case in point. It's love 15. Djokovic missed a backhand. Djokovic has missed a backhand. So we're on this serve now. But yeah, if you are new, feel free to like and subscribe and follow us. We'll be or keep an eye on the channel because we're going to be bringing you every single quarterfinal commentary of every single quarterfinal. Fritz has gone long and he's shouting at his box 15 all. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do right now. Yeah, I think if Dave from down the road was giving signed postcards to kids, there would be questions. Oh well, and yes, Ghosty appreciating the shade. I mean, yeah, I have complicated opinions on the Margaret Court subject. Djokovic out wide on the serve. Forehand from Fritz. The forehand of Djokovic. Forehand from Fritz. The forehand of Djokovic. Djokovic being pushed back by this onslaught from Taylor Fritz. And I think he's gone long. I think Djokovic has gone long. And it's 15-30. Fritz is not backing off. He's not backing off. He's in this match. So yeah, Mukova versus Castella is going to be covered by John later. Damien will bring you Shelton versus Tiafoe. I think John's going to want some sleep. And Srihari and Damien are going to do the opening match of Zheng versus Sabalenka tomorrow. Details of commentaries after that to follow. First serve from Djokovic out wide. Backhand from Djokovic. He's been under pressure this service game. Looped up backhand. Finished by Fritz with an overhead. 15-40. He had 15-40 on Djokovic's last service game. He couldn't convert. What could he do now? Can he get himself back into this? Can he get himself back into this set, back into this match? He's pumping his fist. He's getting ready for this. He's not done that. He knows he has the game to try to take it to Novak Djokovic, and it seems to be working. Djokovic serves off the top of the net and out. It will be a second serve to try and defend his service game. Try and defend his service game. Here we go. Serve from Djokovic up the tee. Great return from Fritz on the aggressive, but then that forehand is way over the baseline. He overhits it completely. That has to be a ballooned forehand, and it is a breakpoint saved by Novak Djokovic, or squandered by Fritz, depending on perspective. But again, he's just has this habit of going for a little too much on the forehand. Djokovic, 30-40. Gets ready. Serves into the net. Second serve for Novak Djokovic. Still bounces the ball. We're still waiting. Here we go. Fritz gets the forehand into play. Backhand Djokovic, the backhand of Fritz. Trading backhands at the minute. Fritz drags his backhand wide as deuce. And yet again, he keeps dragging his shots too wide. It's like it's just not quite hitting the sweet spot. And we're into deuce, and Djokovic might just be continuing to defend his position. And this is almost a microcosm of the match at this far. If you're not sure what's been happening, this has been all about Djokovic just dealing with everything that Fritz has thrown at him with aplomb. Not with aplomb, that'd be weird. With aplomb. Deuce for Novak Djokovic. Goes up the tee on the first serve. Fritz lifts it up. Oh, Djokovic overruns it. Has to run back to pick it up. Just lands in, but Fritz has got time to hit an overhead from the baseline. Djokovic just gets that forehand over. Not a lot of pace. Fritz backhand went up the line. Djokovic is frustrated with himself because he had to run back and it just put a complete disadvantage in the rally. And it's advantage Fritz again. The crowd's absolutely Jane's enjoying the crowd. Oh, here we go. Damien's got some inputs on the match. Fritz with a bit more belief now, but it's too late. It's baseline prediction linear for Novak. Not a highly entertaining matchup. Yeah, spot on, Damien. I kind of agree with that. But you're the only one who will kind of say it like that. And because I wouldn't phrase it like that because I'd be trying to find the words. But once again, Damien, much like my favorite tennis players, ruthlessly efficient. Forehand from Djokovic cross court. Fritz is on the run with his forehand. Forehand up the line from Djokovic. Just made it. No, he's missed it. He's missed the forehand. He's gesturing at his box. He's frustrated at losing the break. It's 4-all. The crowd's going wild. They know this match is going longer. Djokovic just sort of barely touches his face with the towel. It was kind of an aggressive swipe across his own face. And Fritz is now serving at 4 games all rather than trying to serve to stay in the match. Lots of good chat going on, by the way. So we will continue to see how it goes. Just a quick question, just answer about some chat around Saranika staying. Maybe we'll talk about that in the change of ends. Backhand in play from Djokovic. Fritz overplayed the forehand. I think that was long, surely. Yes, it was. Love 15. He's got to be careful he doesn't squander this because he's literally going for everything. Literally going for everything he could possibly try. Yeah, I think we're too tight a juncture to do that. To distract too much from the conversation of what's going on. We need to keep a close eye on things. Forehand from Djokovic off the Fritz first serve, but he's put the forehand into the net. Again, going for way too much, flattening out too much. Love 30. Djokovic. Fritz might be squandering this momentum here. He's overhitting. Camera pans across the Djokovic box. Total points won in set 3, 27. 27 points each this set. It's 4 games all. Love 30, Novak Djokovic. Fritz serves. First serves in play out wide. The forehand of Fritz. Djokovic attacks with his forehand. They're really going for it now. Trading forehands. Really, really great tennis on display here. Fritz goes for the backhand winner off the short ball from Djokovic. He's put it miles into the tram line. And it's love 40 and he's shouting himself in frustration. Sorry, Ghost, we don't have the rights to that. Love 40. Love 40 and Taylor Fritz is definitely frustrated with himself right now because he's gone from making this a set, making this a match to potentially giving Djokovic a chance to serve for it. But that's a good serve up the tee. Djokovic puts the return into the net. And now the Serbs turn to be frustrated for not making the most of the opportunity. 15-40. Djokovic is down on his haunches, trying to reset himself maybe. Find a way to reset. Ready for this return. Don't think about the previous point. Focus on what's coming your way. That's the mentality of a champion. The mentality of a pro. Fritz serves out wide. Djokovic gets the forehand back into play. Forehand Djokovic just over the net. Fritz goes for his forehand. He's been dragged out of court. The forehand's ended up in the tram lines. It's game to Novak Djokovic, and the Serb will serve at 5-4 for a place in the US Open semi-finals. A place that Djokovic has won a lot of matches at, but not won as many titles as you would think of a man with his hard court caliber should have won. Ghosty, I think you were asking about Sorana Castella. I think there were some questions around how she might do tonight. I know that obviously she's the first match on Ash. Is Castella a contender or temporarily good form? I think it's temporary. I mean, we saw that from the Sunshine Double when she did well there. She kind of went off the boil after that. I think she is 33 as well, to answer another question about her. So she's kind of in the Mannarino stage of her career where she's finding her best tennis later on. I reckon, to be honest, Djokovic, Castella is, I think she'll make it competitive with Mukova. She's done really well to get this far. She's beaten two strong players and two form players like Rybakina and Bencic. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one, really. I think Castella's done so well here. I think we have to watch her going forward because she's going to be. She's a really good caliber player. Obviously, 1,000 finalist is her best result in her career. Now 2 Grand Slam quarterfinals. She's going to make a good match against anyone she plays for the next year or two. But I don't blame you for rooting for Mukova. I think she's very popular, and I really like sort of the style that she brings as well. Ghosty, it's very smooth. It's very inventive. Almost pure tennis personified. Right. Novak Djokovic is serving. Gets the first serve in. Excellent return from Fritz, though, who then goes for the backhand, has a chance for the overhead, puts it right in the middle of the court, but it's too good for anyone to get to. It's love 15. And that point was built off an incredible return from Taylor Fritz, off what was a very good serve from Novak Djokovic. Djokovic, not the opening that he needed for this match, this game, where he's trying to serve out this match to try and get it done in straight sets. Djokovic serves out wide ace. Job done, 15 all. 3 points to go for the world number 2, soon to be world number 1, going for a 4th US Open title, which would match Rafael Nadal, still be 1 short of Roger Federer. Believe actually no one's, in the Open era, no one's ever won more than 5 US Opens. Great serve from Djokovic, but it looks like it was long. Yeah. Current US Open record holders at 5, Jimmy Connors, Pete Sampras, Roger Federer. Backhand in play from Fritz, the backhand of Djokovic. Trading backhands. Fritz goes for the aggressive one there. Forehand from Fritz to change the direction. Djokovic goes long, trying to run for it, and it's 15-30. Fritz isn't done yet. He knows that he kind of blew his opportunities to serve that one in his previous service game with 4 really silly unforced errors, really just overhitting it. Fritz getting ready to receive at 15-30. Interesting analysis from Jane in the chat about how things could go up between Medvedev and Rublev tomorrow. Stay tuned for details of that commentary. Forehand from Djokovic. So the forehand of Fritz, wide. And he's frustrated again. Again, just trying to hit deep, go for winners. But this casino tennis will not always bring dividends. You will lose a fair few points doing that. Just ask Elena Ostapenko. 30 all, Novak Djokovic, 2 points away. from the match. What's he going to do? Djokovic goes out wide. Forehand of Fritz. Forehand Djokovic up the line. Backhand from Fritz just over the net. Djokovic slices, comes in behind it. Fritz goes for the passing shot. He gets it. It's 30-40, and now we have break point. It's break point, people. This match ain't done yet. This match is not done. It was a great idea for the approach shot, but it was just a little too deep. It was not awkward enough for Fritz to pick up on the approach shot. And Fritz had enough space to thread that needle with the forehand. 2 hours, 32 minutes on the clock. We've played 3 sets. We've almost finished the third. Unreturnable serve from Novak Djokovic up the tee. Deuce. Yeah, it's not been that straightforward as the score suggests. I mean, for a straight sets match. Djokovic hasn't looked like losing. But yeah, I think Fritz is going to wish he started the match the way he's playing now. Because he is taking it to Novak. But obviously, he can't just keep going for haymakers because it's just not sustainable. So even Djokovic, really short return from Fritz. Djokovic has to come into the net to do something about it. Gets the overhead. Now has advantage. Has a match point for the first time this match. Excuse the yawning. I'm probably thinking about having an early night, given I had a couple of late ones recently. Trying to keep up with night sessions. Maybe I can get some sleep and then see if I can get to see some of Tiafoe Shelton. Who knows? If you're new here, we do plenty of other commentaries like this. Sometimes with 2 of us, which is even better. First serve into the net from Djokovic to try and get this first match point. The tension is high in the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Djokovic serves. Backhand in play from Fritz to the forehand of Fritz. Forehand from Djokovic cross court. Forehand from Fritz to the forehand up the line. Backhand from Fritz to the backhand of Djokovic. They're trading backhands. It's going to be a long one, I think. And Djokovic goes long. Djokovic has gone long with the backhand. He's missed the match point. It's deuce. Max, if you're off, lovely to see you here. I'm always glad you come to a live stream that I'm on. You always brighten the chat. Yeah. It's very hard to bring a sustainable level against Novak Djokovic. Very few players have managed to do it. There are examples of very plucky people who've managed to do it over the years. Nadal, obviously, famous for it. Federer could sometimes. Murray could sometimes. There have been rare times when Stan Wawrinka has done it. Del Potro really pushing Novak Djokovic a couple of times in their meetings. And now Carlos Alcaraz is his main rival. Match point Djokovic. First serve into the net again. Gets ready. Bounces the ball. Second serve. Up the tee. Forehand from Djokovic. Goes to the Fritz. Backhand. Into the net. Djokovic roars. He's roaring. He's into the semi-finals once more for the US Open. Here we go. For the Serb. Great result for him. There's a friendly handshake at the net. Fritz looks very disappointed in himself. He knew he had chances to make things a bit more even in that set. Djokovic still going. And he looks relieved to have got this done in straight sets. What a result for the Serb. Hello, John.
Hi. Damien's latest comments are equally to the point and pretty fair as well. Goyo really was more dangerous to Djokovic than Fritz. Monstrous serve and overall unpredictability. That's obviously in reference to Djokovic's previous round. Taylor's favorite baseline patterns are exactly what Novak wants to play against. Too formulaic, lots of linear pace that he's so well equipped to handle. Huge movement advantage. Yeah, and I think Taylor probably gave Novak a slight helping hand today. I think even Novak in that last game, for example, was erring. Sometimes there'd be a baseline rally and Novak would hit it long. Sometimes he'd hit it into the nets, which is unusual. Normally, we see Casper Ruud, Yannick Sinner, to some extent Taylor Fritz, Andre Rublev, play Novak Djokovic on all different surfaces and kind of play the exact kind of match that he loves. These long baseline rallies, Casper Ruud as well. They can't quite turn defense into attack. They don't have the weapons that can hurt Novak. And yet today, I actually think was a rare day where Novak could have been played in that manner and could have lost a set or two, or at least been competitive or gone to 5 or whatever. I just think that Novak's cheer at the end there was like, I didn't have my best day at the office, and thank good I wasn't punished for it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's exactly what he was cheering for, because that was more of a challenge than the score suggests at points. And mostly that was because Djokovic wasn't great. I think the end of the second set, he was how he'd expect him to look.
Yeah.
I will say credit to Fritz, because he also stepped things up and he started pushing Novak, and he wasn't just relying on Novak floundering. But he was overhitting and he was giving some gimmies by the end. Because if this could have been very different if this game was Djokovic serving to stay in the set, not serving for the match.
Yeah.
And maybe
Djokovic is 47th Grand Slam final. He's talking now.
Country, 90s, when I was growing up in my childhood days, faced a lot of adversity and had to endure along with my parents, with my family, to even get a shot to travel and play international sport. I was very lucky to encounter some very knowledgeable, very passionate people that supported me, believed in me, in my talent, and without them, without their support, my parents are here. I wouldn't be here without their incredible sacrifice. So that's the long answer of what goes through my head when I hear these numbers. There's a lot of things that I'm very grateful for. Obviously, it's a huge opportunity every single time I step out on the court at this age of my life. I don't know how many more opportunities I'll get, so I'm trying to enjoy as much as I possibly can.
How important was it for you today?
I don't know whether... Did you hear all those comments, by the way?
I did, yeah.
I know him and Renee Stubbs indirectly have not always had your friend Renee Stubbs, by the way. So not friend of the show, but your friend Renee Stubbs. Yeah, no, I just wonder if that comment from Novak regarding Serbia might even be... it might be natural, or it might be because he's aware of one or two things that Renee has said about Novak in the past. Don't know. We are speculating. But anyway, Lowell Glover there. Another buy for Novak. Easiest bracket in the history of Grand Slams. I know where he's coming from, but, 23 Grand Slams.
I think Djokovic has had easier draws. Wimbledon 2021 comes to mind.
Really? Yeah, well, of course, being on the other side of the draw and having RBA in the semis. The thing was then, though, I think in 2021, okay, yeah. But also 2019 as well, the competition wasn't that stiff.
Yeah.
Whereas now there are probably 3 or 4 players in the draw that I think could give Novak trouble, but they've all sort of landed on the other side. Zverev, Sinner, and Medvedev spring to mind. It is what it is. I'm interested in that too, Ghosty. I would imagine that somewhere, I mean, his linguistic skills suggest a fairly nice education. I know that people are rightly praised for their linguistic knowledge, but let me tell you this: it's normally because either you grew up in a particular country, i.e., Switzerland, or you had a very fortunate upbringing. Maybe you get a chance to travel and live abroad. But anyway, that is a topic for another day. Any final thoughts, Nick, on this semi-final before we wrap things up?
Quarterfinal or semi-final?
What did I say? Did I say semi-final?
You said semi-final. Just checking which one you want me to. Am I doing a preview or am I doing a review?
There we go. I'm getting ahead of myself for Novak there. Thanks behind the mic, by the way. I think behind the mic, Matthew, he's going to be doing a commentary for us tomorrow night. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's going to do Vondrousova against
Keys.
Madison Keys. Yeah,
so our first night session. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Which is great. I'll produce for him, and he's a very enthusiastic guy, and I want him to bring that to.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about that, and who knows, maybe we'll get to do some stuff together. Matthew, if you're on Twitter, give me a follow at Nick_BCast. It'd be great to chat on there. But regarding this match, I think definitely, I think Djokovic had a clear advantage over his opponent's day, as does over most. I expect that to continue into the final. I think that will be where the real test will be, and I'm interested to see. I'd say that I genuinely can't call who his opponent will be, though. It's real coin flip who's going to win.
In the semi-final tonight, Shelton Tiafoe. You finding that one difficult to call?
It's so difficult to call. I keep flipping between the two.
Yeah. I look at two or three things, broad things. One is that I'm not sure if Tiafoe's level is the same as New York last year, and I don't know if he's repeated that in the 12 months since, despite a title in Stuttgart, despite a good run here in New York. I'm not sure if Tiafoe is at that level. He might not have to be, and we see players have good runs and do better. You can see a guy playing the best tennis of his career and run into Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic and go out in the quarterfinal. You can see him do okay and get to a final, if you like, or maybe even win the tournament. But so that's what I'm saying with Tiafoe. Shelton, he's a box of tricks, isn't he? Namely the serve. I also think that he might cause Novak a few more troubles in the semifinals because of the unknown X factor. It could go either way, but still, maybe I'm leaning Francis. Maybe just a bit of experience.
I think Anastasia said he was looking good. Certainly, he's made his way through the. he got a good draw, and he's made his way through it pretty well. I think I think that I would be interested, because Anastasia's seen them both play up close, which way she's going on it, actually. Definitely looking forward to it. But yeah,
so your serve is something that if Ben can get that, which he got for basically 2 sets against Tiafoe, most well known, most famously in that game when he hit I think 2 149s and maybe a 142 serve, all in the same service game. If he can take that level of comfort, if you like, when I use the word comfort, I use it specifically because it's that mindset that, if you go down the tee, and you're almost sort of in the zone, is what I mean by comfort. Actually, he was in the zone in that game, and if he can maintain that, then it could be difficult for Francis. However, it's not easy to maintain. The best players in the world, even the best servers of all time, have rarely been able to sort of produce that game after game, set after set. So I'm going Francis. He's been here. He's seen it. He's worn the T-shirt. He's a few years older than Ben as well. So, yeah. But listen, I that's it. That's it. I almost think Ben's peak it actually wins the match. Certainly the peak that I've seen over the course of the last 12 months since the US Open last year. But too close to call. Yeah, I think, as you say, Anastasia is just going towards Tiafoe, but it is a close one.
Yeah, she's actually asking if Tiafoe and Shelton have played before, so I'm going to quickly look that up. Almost there. No, they have never played before.
Doesn't entirely surprise me because Shelton's only been on the tour 14 months, don't forget. So
yeah, you never know. Like
Yeah,
Shelton
I know,
played
yeah.
Alcaraz. Let's be honest. So
Yeah.
it might not necessarily have happened, but I know what you mean. They could have played at the US at some point. But
Anastasia and Ghosty, by the way, even Coco Gauff said that she prefers Carlos Alcaraz's outfit to Francis. Did you hear that?
yes. Although, did you hear Francis' response when he was told about it?
No, what did he say?
He said, so Coco said that she preferred Ben Shelton's look, and when it was put to Francis, his response was she likes that light skin energy.
Okay. Good that they can have a bit of banter, and I'm loving the Ben banter as well, particularly with Taylor Townsend in doubles, and yeah,
actually in action in the doubles at the minute, and she and Leda Fernandez look like they're well in control of their match.
There's been a lot of talk about the heavier balls, by the way, in the last. It's been a sort of on-off topic for about 12 months, but it's resurfaced in the last few days. But I can't remember exactly why. I think somebody was complaining about an aching arm, and then other people backed them up. Might have been
Vondrousova, I think. I think it's more than women's.
As well, okay, because she's actually got that typical kind of injury that does seem sort of heavy ball induced.
Yeah,
I'm going back like 2 or 3 days actually, but yeah.
I was listening. So I was listening to Laura Robson talking on Radio 5 Live about it, and yeah, the most of the complaints tend to be on the women's side. Like I know there was a lot of fuss about the balls being different last year, and now this year both the men and the women play with the same balls, whereas last year they didn't. So this year there's much heavier duty balls, which half the women's field don't like. So it's one of those things of, I think the women's field would probably want everyone to play with lighter balls, not everyone to play with heavier balls. So it was to quote Sheldon Cooper or misquote Sheldon Cooper, they compromised, they lost.
Also Medvedev, I know, had a good complaint about the balls earlier on this year. I think Steph has had a go as well. Only Ghosty, by the way, can highlight how cool an outfit looks, but focus in on the socks. I love that outfit. The socks just are brilliant.
I don't think I spend that much time looking at my own feet there.
Imagine meeting someone at a wedding going, "That's a really good suit you got there. The socks really suit it." Socks go well. I mean, that is an important.
Something's gone wrong with the cut there if it's a wedding.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listen. Big thanks for you today. It started with a cough, and from Taylor ended with a splutter. But it started with a cough from you. If you remember, one game in, Nick was coughing, and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, I was seriously worried I couldn't breathe at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what I'm just going to do, just very quickly. It'll take me probably 30 seconds. I'm just going to post in the live chat the link to the is it Castella or Chestea, by the way?
Castella.
So the Castella link against Mukova, of course. Which will be coming up in about just over 2 hours from now. We'll try and go live at 5 minutes to the hour, more or less, and that's going to be there. So that's Kostya Mukova now in the live chat for you. So we'll see you all in a couple of hours. That'll be with me, and Damien, our night owl, will bring us Shelton against Tiafoe. So yeah, cool. Thanks, Nick.
No problem. Thanks, John. I've really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy Kostya versus Mukova tonight. And I'll be back in a few days.
Yeah, hope to catch you sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You got your eye on Saturday, maybe?
I've got my eye on several matches.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking about I've got my eye on you for Saturday.
I'll take the women's final, sure.
Yeah. Oh no, I was talking about the boys' doubles.
I'll take that.
Yeah, no, the women's final would be great. We'll see who joins you. Maybe me, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how it goes out. Anyway, listen, big thanks, Nick. And do you want to close us out with a couple of words?
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Hope you can tune in later. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
US Open was the start of a heat wave we'll be getting here over the next few days, and it was hot. The juniors are now playing on the outside courts, and I started with Darwin Blanche playing his first round match against Charlie Camus. Both players are left-handed, and it was an interesting watch. A brief rain delay moved me inside, but Darwin won the match in the end. Up next was Marketa Vondrousova versus Peyton Stearns. Stearns came out firing and took the first set. Marketa looked to be struggling physically, but showed her experience and came back to win the next 2 sets. She is into the quarterfinals. Next was Rublev versus Draper. It's really nice seeing Draper back playing well, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the year holds for him. Rublev was his usual tortured self, which can be hard to watch at times, but he pushed past that to get into another quarterfinals. My surprise of the day was the third match on Armstrong. I have never watched Jeanne play, and she came out of the blocks hot. Really aggressive, and even though she struggled to serve out the match, she definitely has a new fan in me. It was another packed day on the grounds as I started my last match, which was between Alex de Minaur and Daniil Medvedev. I thought we might be getting a repeat of their Toronto match, but Alex lost steam and Daniil took control to win the match. My time at Louis Armstrong is now over. Up next, Ash for the rest of the tournament.
Remember last ball drops? Remember that pretty successful thing we had on during the French Open and during Wimbledon, that as soon as that last ball dropped, we would go live with a review of the day? Well, for New York, we've got something slightly different. It's called the first serve. It may look like last ball drops. It may even appear like last ball drops, but it's on at a different time. Some of you may be thinking, oh, a little bit more convenient, European time, mid-afternoon. Well, you're probably right. Anyway, it's coming your way every day for the next week or so, from probably until about around 4, I would imagine. 3 p.m. Central European time, 2 p.m. British Summer Time, and therefore 9 a.m. in New York, so Eastern Time, will be coming your way every day with a review of the previous day's action and a look forward to the day ahead. All here on Talkin' Tennis. So, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and see you at 9 a.m. Eastern Time every day during the US Open until middle of the second week, more or less. You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one. So I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on this surface. But I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some like defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. There were some Australian Open final vibes for me today, and I was looking at a couple of comparisons. Australia was 2 hours 28 minutes, today was 2:26. I'm sure you weren't aware of that. But I tell you, 4 championship points, does that sound familiar? And were you thinking of it during that last game?
Actually, yes, I was thinking when I was down with the break in the last game, I was thinking, okay, I did it at the Australia Open, so probably I'll be able to get this win this time again, and it's actually helped me to stay focused and to have this belief in myself. And yeah, definitely this match reminds a lot of Australia Open match.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
We have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the 5th.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes up. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009 Of course, he. I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one. So I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on this surface. But I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some like defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. There were some Australian Open final vibes for me today, and I was looking at a couple of comparisons. Australia was 2 hours 28 minutes, today was 2:26. I'm sure you weren't aware of that. But I tell you, 4 championship points, does that sound familiar? And were you thinking of it during that last game?
Actually, yes, I was thinking when I was down with the break in the last game, I was thinking, okay, I did it at the Australia Open, so probably I'll be able to get this win this time again, and it's actually helped me to stay focused and to have this belief in myself. And yeah, definitely this match reminds a lot of Australia Open match.
Remember last ball drops? Remember that pretty successful thing we had on during the French Open and during Wimbledon, that as soon as that last ball dropped, we would go live with a review of the day? Well, for New York, we've got something slightly different. It's called the first serve. It may look like last ball drops. It may even appear like last ball drops, but it's on at a different time. Some of you may be thinking, oh, a little bit more convenient, European time, mid-afternoon. Well, you're probably right. Anyway, it's coming your way every day for the next week or so, from probably until about around 4, I would imagine. 3 p.m. Central European time, 2 p.m. British Summer Time, and therefore 9 a.m. in New York, so Eastern Time, will be coming your way every day with a review of the previous day's action and a look forward to the day ahead. All here on Talkin' Tennis. So, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and see you at 9 a.m. Eastern Time every day during the US Open until middle of the second week, more or less. A couple of days ago, we asked you about the tactic and what it would be against Coco.
Now you know.
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, I'm thinking it's just to give her as many forehands as possible.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as I was watching, I was thinking it's not really attack the forehand, it's give the forehand, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, she's a very good, she plays amazing when she's defending. She's very fast, she has crazy backhand, very good serve, especially first serves. I just try to return her every ball to make her play one more. Sometimes when she feels she doesn't have like 3 points on the serve, she starts to serve a little bit worse. And of course, going more to her forehand, most because of her backhand is very good. And when you have like the spot there, you just go there. But I just try to go to her forehand, and yet sometimes just give it to her and make her like do more.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.